Your Honor. Good morning, Detective. Would you please introduce yourself?
I am Detective Jenny Velazquez. I am employed by the Miami Beach Police Department.
And how long have you worked for the Miami Beach Police Department?
7.5 years.
What's your current assignment there?
I work for the Special Victims Unit at the Miami Beach Police Department.
And how long have you worked in the Special Victims Unit?
Since approximately 2007.
And you stated you work for the Miami Beach Police Department. Is that different from Miami?
Yes, it is.
What's the tell us what's the location of Miami Beach in regard to Miami, Florida?
Miami is adjacent to Miami Beach. It's basically divided by 2 causeways. So you have Miami on one side and you have Miami Beach on the other.
And does Miami have a different police agency than Miami Beach?
Yes, it does.
Now, were you working in your capacity that you already described back in December of 2009?
Yes, I was.
And on December 30th, 2009 specifically, were you asked to assist in an investigation by the Tempe Police Department?
Yes, I was.
And did that involve a missing child by the name of Gabriel Johnson?
Yes, it did.
And what specifically were you asked to do in regard to your role?
I was asked to locate Elizabeth Johnson and Baby Gabriel is what we called him. We were notified through the Tempe Police Department that he was that they were in the area of Miami Beach.
And now, did you specifically talk to the Tempe Police Department yourself?
No, I did not.
Who was it that you were talking to in regard to the investigation?
My Sergeant Schoenfeld.
And were you provided with information specifically where in the Miami Beach area you were to be looking for Elizabeth Johnson and Gabriel Johnson?
Yes, I was told that she was in the area of a hostel off of Collins Avenue. So my sergeant and myself went there to look for her.
And the hostel, had you been previously familiar with the hostel?
I had.
And can you just describe to us a little bit what's the hostel, what type of place is it?
It's a transient kind of a condo type setting for basically transients that are not there to stay for like a lengthy time where they would stay in a hotel. It's like a U-shaped. It's 2 stories, and you have apartments both on the bottom and on the top, and in the center you have kind of like a little courtyard with seats and shrubbery.
And you indicated that it's like a condo. Are they rooms that have kitchenettes, or are they just rooms with beds?
I don't recall if her room had a kitchenette or not. I know that they're very small rooms.
And prior to you, when you were briefed by your sergeant, were you advised of what room you should be looking for Elizabeth Johnson?
No.
What is it that you and your sergeant did once you received the information to be looking at the hostel?
We went directly to the hostel with the flyer that was provided to us by the Tempe Police Department and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we went and spoke to several people that were just there to see if they had seen her. And at first, the people that were sitting outside at that time had said that they did not see her. And then there was a building manager, I believe, who said he had seen her earlier and that she had hailed a cab to go to the department stores and that she would be back.
And do you recall the name of that building manager?
I don't.
Was it Michael Kadash?
It's possible.
About what time of day was it that you were out talking to the people at the hostel?
It was late. I can't tell you the approximate time. I know that it was dark.
Was it nighttime?
Yes, it was.
After you spoke to the people at the hostel and learned that she had taken a cab to a department store, what did you do?
We waited for her in the courtyard area that I described earlier, in one of the seats that were there. Just waited to see if she would come back.
And the flyer that you said you had, did it have a photograph of Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes, it did.
And did it have a photograph of Gabriel?
Yes, it did.
And so were you using that flyer to try and identify anybody who was coming to the hostel?
Yes.
At some point in time, did you see somebody who appeared to be a person in the flyer?
Yes, I did.
And where did you first see that person?
She was coming in. She hailed a cab. She got off the cab, and then she came in through the side and passed us. When I looked over, I saw her and I stopped her.
And did that person look like the photograph in the flyer?
Yes.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Would you please just indicate where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
She's sitting at that table, and she's wearing a white shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
It shall so reflect.
And when you first saw Elizabeth Johnson, what conversation did you have with her?
I asked her if she was Elizabeth Johnson, and first she said no, she was not Elizabeth Johnson. She gave me a name, I believe it was Sarah Evans.
Did you write a report in this case?
I did.
Is it part of your duties to write a report?
Yes, it is.
And is that to help you refresh your recollection later on about what happened in the case?
Yes, it is.
And if you indicated that the name in the report was Victoria Evans that she gave you, is that correct?
That is correct. Victoria Evans.
And when she gave you the name Victoria Evans, did you have further conversation with her?
I did. I actually confronted her with the flyer and said, this looks like you. This says Elizabeth Johnson. At that point, she says, okay, I am Elizabeth Johnson.
And after she said that she was Elizabeth Johnson, did you ask her right then any questions about Gabriel and the whereabouts of Gabriel?
No, not right there. I told her that we would have to go to the police department, and then I said, is Gabriel with you? At that point, she told me that she had some belongings in her apartment that she wanted to gather, and so we went upstairs with her to gather her belongings.
And when you gathered her belongings, did you see any belongings that appeared to belong to a child?
No, we searched the apartment for Baby Gabriel, as well as anything that would indicate that he was there, diapers, baby food, anything child-related, and there was nothing in there.
And then did you at some point gather Elizabeth Johnson's belongings as well?
Yes, she did.
And did you take her into custody?
Yes.
Was that on a Tempe warrant?
Yes. At the time, because we were transporting her to the police department, we placed her in handcuffs and transported her and put her in an interview room until the FBI. We contacted the FBI and we waited with her until they arrived.
Now, at the time that you put her in an interview room, was it your intention to interview Elizabeth Johnson?
No.
And why not?
Because as far as I was concerned, the FBI was going to be handling the case, and it was going to be their investigation as well as their interview. I did speak with Elizabeth Johnson, and my sole purpose for that was to find Baby Gabriel.
And you said before that you waited in the room with her. Did Elizabeth Johnson start any conversation with you before you started any conversation with her?
Yes, she did. As soon as we placed her in the room, she started to sob and began speaking about her ex-boyfriend and how she ended up in Miami Beach because she had had an abusive relationship with him.
So she indicated to you she had an abusive relationship with her boyfriend?
Yes.
Did she have any conversation with you then about Gabriel at all?
She didn't mention Gabriel. I asked her about Gabriel.
And what did you ask her?
I asked her where he was. I asked her if he was okay. I wanted to know where he was at. Our sole purpose at that point was to locate the child.
And what did she tell you about Gabriel's whereabouts?
At first she told me that she gave the baby away to someone in San Antonio at the hotel she was staying at. And then she told me later on that she gave Baby Gabriel away to someone she met at a park, a couple that she met at a park. She had no recollection of any names. She couldn't tell me where the park was. She couldn't even tell me what hotel it was when she gave me the story of the incident at the hotel. So that was it. That's all we had, was that she had given him away to somebody, but we didn't know who.
While she was talking to you, did she have any conversation with you about Tammy Smith?
She did mention Tammy Smith.
Did she tell you that Tammy Smith was going to adopt the baby, but Tammy had problems with the father?
Yes, she did.
Did she talk to you at all about how she had gotten to Miami?
Yes, she said she left Phoenix in her vehicle with the baby. She drove down and stopped at Texas. And then she drove to Miami, city of Miami, and where she abandoned her vehicle and then took a cab over to Miami Beach.
So she told you she drove the car to Miami
That is correct.
and took a cab to Miami Beach.
Yes.
Did you have any other conversation with Elizabeth Johnson at that time?
Not that I can recall at this time.
While you were with Elizabeth Johnson, you had indicated that you got some property from her room. What did you do with the property that you'd gotten from Elizabeth?
We impounded it into our property at Miami Beach Police Department.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm showing you what's marked as, for identification purposes, exhibit number 117. You go ahead and take a look at what's in that box.
Trying to take everything out.
If you just want to look and see if you recognize what's in the box.
Yes.
And do you recognize those items?
I do.
Are those the items that you took from Elizabeth Johnson on December 30th, 2009?
Yes.
And did you impound those items and put them in a box?
I impounded them. I don't know who put them in a box.
Okay. Is there a property sheet that goes with the items?
There is.
And is a copy of that property sheet contained there in the box?
Yes.
And do you recognize that property sheet as well?
Yes.
And how do you recognize it?
It is a property receipt that was filled out by the FBI, apparently.
And, Your Honor, at this time I move for the admission of exhibit number 117.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 117 is admitted.
Detective, I'm also going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 130 and 131. And they're actually already in evidence. Do you recognize these items?
Yes.
And how do you recognize those items?
These are items that I impounded from Elizabeth Johnson.
So they're items that were actually on her person when you found her on December 30th, 2009?
Not on her person, but somewhere in her property. I would say in her book bag or somewhere within her property.
And are those items included on the property sheet that's in exhibit 117?
Yes.
And Detective, at some point, did you meet with Special Agent Chavez from the FBI in order for him to obtain that property?
I did.
And did you give that property to Special Agent Chavez?
Yes, I did.
And did you actually get it out of the property room and hand it to him?
The way that it works is that they bring it to me, I release it to him, and then he takes it.
I have no further questions, then.
Cross-examination, Mr. Victor.
No questions, Judge.
Does the jury have any questions for Detective Velazquez before we let her go? Doesn't look like it. May this witness be excused, Ms. Andrews?
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Victor,
Yes, Judge.
you may sit.
Would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. My name is Regino Chavez. I'm an agent with the FBI's Miami office.
And how long have you worked for the FBI?
9 years and some months.
And what's your particular assignment right now?
I'm part of a Crimes Against Children squad where we work violations involving children, such as child sex trafficking, domestic and international parental kidnapping, all forms of child pornography, and child sex tourism, amongst other violations.
Does that also include missing children?
Yes,
And were you working in that same capacity back in December of 2009?
yes,
And at that time, in December of 2009, were you asked to assist in an investigation regarding a missing child by the name of Gabriel Johnson?
yes.
And how is it that you became involved in that investigation?
I basically got a call from one of my counterparts with the Phoenix office here with the FBI, who basically told me they were working a potential kidnapping by a mother of a baby, basically. They gave me some information basically that they had pinpointed the mother, or potentially pinpointed the mother, to a hotel on Miami Beach, and they were requesting that we execute a state arrest warrant. Being an FBI agent, a federal agent, we can't execute state arrest warrants. So I called our contacts in Miami Beach, which is where the hotel was located, and I gave them the information, and I asked them whether they could help us out and execute the arrest warrant.
And the contact in Miami Beach that you talked to, was that Sergeant Schoenfeld?
Yes,
And the FBI agent in the Phoenix area, was that Mike Conrad?
correct.
And after talking to Miami Beach police, at some point in time, did you learn that they had located Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes.
And based on them locating Elizabeth Johnson, then what did you do?
Well, initially they told me that they had located her and they were starting their investigation and that they would call me if they needed me. At around 11 p.m. approximately on the 30th of December, I got a call from them basically saying that they had her and they were requesting that I come in and attempt to interview her.
And did you, in fact, then sometime arrive there to talk to her?
Yes.
And about what time of day was that?
It would have been just before the 31st, sometime just before midnight on the 30th of December.
And so then did you actually sit and talk to her then between the night hours of the 30th and the morning hours of the 31st?
Yes.
And when you sat and talked to her, did you read her what's known as Miranda warnings?
Yes, I did.
And what exactly are those?
Those are basically warnings we give people before we interview them. They include the fact that they have the right to remain silent, that anything they say or do can be used against them in a court of law, that they have the right to an attorney. If they can't afford one can be provided for them. The FBI also adds that if they choose to answer questions without an attorney present at the time, they have the right to stop the interview at any time and request an attorney. Then we ask them whether they understood the rights that we read them, and then we ask whether they're willing to waive, at which time they either acknowledge that they're waiving verbally or they sign a document we have.
Now, did Elizabeth Johnson, in fact, indicate to you that she did not want to talk to you?
Correct.
And then did you ask her if she'd be willing to talk to you specifically about the whereabouts of Gabriel Johnson?
Yes.
And in talking to Elizabeth and asking her specifically about the whereabouts of Gabriel Johnson, did you use any force against her?
No.
Did you coerce her in any way?
No.
Did you make any threats against her?
No.
And did you make her any promises?
No.
At some point in time, did she finally agree to talk to you about Gabriel's whereabouts?
Yes.
And what was the conversation you had with her about Gabriel's whereabouts?
Well, we told her we were going to ask her. We were interested in the safety of Gabriel, and we wanted to ask her questions about that. So she began to tell us some facts. She told us that approximately when Gabriel was about 1 month old, that she had met a lady at an airport in Phoenix, a lady she recalled being named Tammy Smith. They had struck up a conversation at the airport, and they had agreed or talked about the possibility of Ms. Johnson giving Gabriel to Ms. Smith. At that time, when Gabriel was 1 month old, they didn't do it. They didn't go through with it. They just went their separate ways. Later on, when Gabriel was 7 months old, Ms. Johnson decided to give Gabriel to Ms. Smith. She did so, and Ms. Smith had Gabriel about a week and then gave Gabriel back to Ms. Johnson, and Ms. Johnson got him back. We kept talking, and she told us that approximately 2 weeks before the interview, she arrived in San Antonio, Texas. There, she stayed at the Homegate Hotel. I believe she told us the address was 10950 Loria Drive in San Antonio. She said it was about 50 minutes away from the amusement park, Six Flags Atlantis. Yes, amusement park, Six Flags Atlantis. She said that while she was there, she decided to go for a walk. She went to a park near the hotel. At the park, she met two, what we refer to as an unknown male and an unknown female, because she really didn't know their names. At one point during the interview, she told us she believed the name of the female may have been Cheryl, but she wasn't sure. She met the unknown male and the unknown female at a park. She was upset at the time, so they approached her, they started talking. She told them about the problems that she was having in her life. And then they started telling her that, they were a couple who could not have children of their own. They were looking to adopt a child. And they talked about the possibility of them adopting Gabriel. They agreed to do so. They actually met. She told us it was December 25th when they actually met. and they agreed to meet the following day at her hotel at the home gate to actually go through with this. The next day, on the 26th, the unknown male and the unknown female arrived at the hotel. I believe she told us about 10 a.m. And there, they showed up with a document, a one-page, one-paragraph document, where it basically said that Ms. Johnson was giving Gabriel to them up for adoption. They told her that they were going to use this paper to give to their attorney so that their attorney could generate another document basically stating that the unknown female was the mother of Gabriel. Ms. Johnson signed the document, and she turned over Gabriel to the unknown female and the unknown male. When she turned him over with a bag that had some of his clothing. And at the time, I believe she said he was wearing one of those baby suits, and she turned him over to them. We also asked her some other questions. She told us that during the time that she was in San Antonio at the home gate, she was in contact with Miss Tammy Smith, the lady she had given Gabriel to when he was 7 months old. And she basically, they were talking about what was going on, and Miss Smith told Miss Johnson that she had friends in San Antonio who could help her adopt Gabriel or take Gabriel from her.
Did Elizabeth Johnson also tell you that she left San Antonio on December 27, 2009?
Yes.
Did she give a description of the female and male that she gave the baby to?
Yes, she told us that they were white. She said the male was probably somewhere between 5'6" and 6 feet tall, kind of medium build, sort of middle-aged. The woman probably at 5'6", shorter. White female, kind of middle-aged. She told us that she got the impression that they were a married couple because she saw wedding rings on their fingers. She said that they were articulate. They seemed like nice people. She said that they never offered her money, they never gave her money, or they didn't espouse any religious beliefs or anything like that. She seemed they appeared to her like normal people.
Was she able to provide you any descriptions that would help you locate the couple, such as scars, tattoos, markings, a car they were driving, where they may have been coming from, a last name, any of that information?
No, she couldn't give us any specifics. When we asked her, she said that she didn't ask them what they planned to do with Gabriel, where they were going, what they were going to do. She never asked them any of those questions.
Did she give any description about how they arrived, how they took Gabriel away, if they had a car seat with them?
No.
After you interviewed Elizabeth Johnson, did you also have the opportunity to interview some other individuals in regard to the investigation?
Yes, I did.
Specifically, did you talk to 9 women who had been housed at different times in the Miami Beach jail with Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes. They were housed at the Women's Detention Center, which is in Miami. It's a different city.
Okay. So they were actually in Miami?
Yes.
And were they, any of those 9 people that you talked to, able to give you any information whatsoever that help you identify the whereabouts of Gabriel Johnson?
No.
At some point in time, did you meet with Detective Velazquez and obtain some property?
Yes, I did.
And did you then send that property to the Tempe Police Department?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Agent, I'm showing you what's been marked, what's actually already in evidence is exhibit number 117, 130, and 131. And if you want to go ahead and take a look at the box. Do you recognize those 3 exhibits?
Yes.
And are those the 3 exhibits that you obtained from Detective Velazquez and sent to the Tempe Police Department?
Yes.
And is there a copy of a property sheet there contained in exhibit number 117?
Yes.
Is that a property sheet you filled out?
Correct.
And what date did you fill that out?
It was the 5th of January, 2010.
Okay, and you sent those to Detective Gary Duplessis of the Tempe Police Department?
Yes.
And was that the same day?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Cross-examination, Mr. Victor?
Thank you, Judge. Special Agent Chavez, good morning.
Good morning.
You testified that you had a conversation with Elizabeth Johnson on December 30th, 2009, just before midnight. Is that right?
Correct, and past midnight into the 31st.
Right. So it continued on into the early morning hours of the 31st.
Yes.
And during that conversation is when Elizabeth Johnson told you that when she was giving you the chronology of what happened, she told you that December 26, 2009, that was the day that she handed Gabriel over to the couple in the park.
No, not at the park, at the Homegate Hotel.
The couple she met in the park.
At the park, correct.
And that was the day of the exchange, right?
Yes.
It was on 12/26/2009.
Correct.
And then after that, she didn't have Gabriel any longer, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, no further questions.
Any redirect?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Does the jury have any questions for Special Agent Chavez before we let him go? We do have a question. Agent Chavez, I've got a question. I'm going to ask you the question, but the jury's really asking you the question, so give them the answer. Here's the question. You had mentioned about a conversation that Ms. Johnson told you between Ms. Johnson and Tammy Smith. As to that conversation or conversations, when did they occur, if you know?
Yes, she told us based on the age of Gabriel at the time. The first time when they met at the airport in Phoenix, Gabriel was 1 month old. Gabriel, I believe, was born May 9th of 2009. So I guess it would have been about April, mid-April. The second time they met, when she gave Gabriel to Ms. Smith, Gabriel was 7 months old. So I guess it would have been 7 months after May 9th. She didn't give a specific date. She gave it to us based on the age of Gabriel at the time.
Okay, next question. What type of help was offered by Ms. Smith with respect to the conversation about San Antonio?
She basically told Ms. Johnson that she had friends in San Antonio who could help her and basically adopt or take Gabriel from her. She could give Gabriel to those people, those friends of her in San Antonio.
And did Ms. Johnson talk to you about whether she took Ms. Smith up on any type of offer?
Well, she did tell us that when Gabriel was 7 months old, she gave Gabriel to her for a period of 1 week. But then, with regards to the conversations while they were in San Antonio, she didn't tell us whether she took any help from her or whether the unknown male and the unknown female came from Ms. Smith. She didn't make that connection.
Follow up, Ms. Andrews?
Yes, just briefly. Agent Chavez, I think you indicated that Elizabeth told you that she met Tammy Smith when Gabriel was 1 month old.
Correct.
And then you said that you believe Gabriel was born in May.
Yes.
And so that would have made him 1 month in April, and that would have made him 1 month in June.
Oh, I'm sorry. Correct. Yes. 1 month in June.
That's all I have, thank you.
Any follow-up, Mr. Baker?
Briefly, Judge, thank you. Agent Chavez, you were asked about, by the jury question, questions about conversations and when they occurred between Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith. And you answered the question about the conversation at the airport, the conversation later on back in the Phoenix area, right?
Correct.
But there was another conversation that you testified to. That was in San Antonio, right?
Between Ms. Smith and Ms. Johnson?
Right.
Yeah, the telephonic conversation.
Right. And so your testimony is that there was a conversation between Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith while Elizabeth Johnson was in San Antonio, right?
Correct.
And that conversation was about adopting Gabriel to another couple, right?
Correct.
And that conversation was about the other couple potentially could have been friends of Tammy Smith, right?
Correct.
And Tammy Smith is the one, according to Elizabeth Johnson, who said, I have friends in San Antonio who would like to be involved in the adoption. Is that right?
Correct.
Thank you, Judge.
Any follow-up from the state's perspective
No,
to that?
thank you, Your Honor.
Any other questions for Agent Chavez? We do have another question for you. The question is, was the conversation between Tammy Smith and Elizabeth Johnson in San Antonio that we've talked about, the phone conversation, did it occur before she gave baby Gabriel to the unknown couple?
That we did not get into since our focus was entirely on figuring out where Gabriel was. We didn't get so much into the content of the conversations between Ms. Smith and Ms. Johnson because we were focusing on where's the baby, those were our questions. That's what we were gearing it towards.
Follow-up, Ms. Andrews?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Follow-up, Mr. Victor?
No, Judge, thank you.
Any other questions from the jury for Agent Chavez before we let him go? Doesn't look like it. May this witness be excused, Ms. Andrews?
Yes, sure.
Mr. Victor?
Yes, Judge.
Tell the jury a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Patricia Ramirez, and for the past 10 and a half years, I've been employed by the City of Tempe as a police officer. The first 5 years, I was assigned to the Patrol Division as a uniformed police officer. During the year 2007, I transferred to the Criminal Investigations Bureau. This is when I became a property crimes detective. The following year, I transferred to my current job assignment, which is in the sex crimes unit. This unit also includes crimes against children, as well as elder abuse investigations.
Now, Detective, were you working in your capacity that you just described back on December 27, 2009?
Yes.
And on that day, were you on call?
Yes.
And what does that mean to be on call?
On call in our Criminal Investigations Bureau, every weekend, there are 3 of us as detectives that are assigned to be on call. And this is for us to respond in a timely manner to assist the Patrol Division in investigations, warrants. And so anytime from Friday to Sunday, actually till Monday morning, we're on call to be available.
And based on your being on call on December 27, 2009, were you asked to be involved in an investigation regarding a child by the name of Gabriel Johnson?
Yes.
And what was your role, or what was your understanding of your role when you were first called to become involved in that investigation?
I received a phone call Sunday, December 27, 2009 from Sergeant John King. He initially had stated that we had a missing child investigation at 4605 South Priest, trailer home number 153. He also informed me that it was a possible child homicide investigation.
And at that point in time, was it your understanding that you were going to be the case agent on the case?
Not initially, not during the phone call.
At some point in time, did you become the case agent in the case?
Yes, I did.
And what exactly is a case agent? What do they do?
Any investigation, whether it's small or it's very complex, needs organization. So we need one person, at times we need 2 people to be the point of contact, and that is for fellow detectives to go to that person, other law enforcement officers, so that they know who is actually in charge, and that person also needs to see the investigation through. So that would be through its closure, and that could be through an arrest. A case can be closed, or it can be inactivated, or it can be pending. So that person is in charge of the investigation.
Is it ultimately the case agent's responsibility to obtain all the information from the other police officers involved and put it all together?
Correct.
And in this case, is that what you did?
Yes.
Do you know by memory everything that happened in this case?
No.
Is that all documented in police reports that have been provided?
Correct.
And in this case, does this case contain well over 5,000 pages of different police reports?
That is correct.
And so you don't know everything that's in every page?
No, I do not.
At some point in time, have you reviewed and talked to the other detectives who've worked with the case?
Yes.
In this particular case, did the Tempe Police Department and other law enforcement agencies receive a high volume of tips from the public about Gabriel and Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes, we did.
And are you familiar with each and every one of those tips?
No, I am not.
And is the follow-up on those tips documented?
Correct.
And was it the responsibility of the detectives and police officers assigned those tips to advise you when there was anything that was credible or needed further follow-up on, or that may relate to the actual investigation?
Yes.
Were there a number of tips that really were either unable to be followed up on or were followed up on and turned out to be nothing?
That's correct.
And were there a lot of tips that just didn't seem to apply to the case?
That is correct.
Now, you talked about getting the call from Sergeant King. Originally, where were you supposed to respond?
Originally, he asked me to respond to the trailer park at 4605 South Priest, trailer home number 153.
And did you actually then go to the trailer?
As I was preparing to go to the location, I received a second call from him, And he then asked me to respond to our police headquarters located at 120 East 5th Street in the city of Tempe.
And did you then arrive at the police station?
Yes, I did.
Was that approximately 5:30 in the evening?
Yes.
And at the time, did you participate in a briefing?
Yes.
Now, I don't need to know exactly person by person who was present, but were there other people present at this briefing?
Yes.
What type of persons were present at this briefing?
The sergeant who was the person designated, Sergeant John King, was there, as well as other detectives, Detective Larson, Detective Ryberg. They were on call with me for that weekend. We also called in Detective Elliot Campbell to assist us.
And was Officer Snell present?
Officer Snell was present, yes.
And did he brief the detectives?
Yes,
Was Detective Aguilera also present by telephone?
correct.
And was he at the Smith's residence at the time?
Yes,
And was he providing information to the other detectives from the Smith's residence?
correct.
And was Sergeant Linson present?
Yes,
Okay. And did she brief you about the conversation she had with Elizabeth on the phone?
yes,
And during this briefing, did you learn what car it is that Elizabeth Johnson had had?
yes.
And whose car was that?
That was her grandfather, who was later identified as Robert, called him Bob Johnson, Sr.
And did you learn from Officer Snell about his conversations with Logan McQuarrie
Yes,
and him hearing the telephone calls and reading the text messages?
yes,
And did you also hear during that time frame from Detective Larson and Detective Ryberg about their search of Elizabeth Johnson's trailer?
correct.
And did you also talk to Detective Larson and Detective Ryberg about talking to Malcolm Phipps?
Yes,
And did you also learn at that time about a search of the Tempe area dumpsters?
yes,
And did you also learn that Detective Larson obtained some financial information on Elizabeth Johnson from Logan?
yes,
Did you meet Logan McQuarrie that day?
I did.
Did you interview him yourself?
No.
What was Logan's demeanor like when you met him?
He was cooperative. He was very quiet. He appeared to be sad. Again, he was quiet and reserved.
Did you yourself try to reach Elizabeth Johnson on that day?
Yes.
And were you able to ever reach her?
No.
How was it that you were trying to reach her?
I attempted to reach her by phone, the telephone number that was provided earlier from Sergeant Linson.
Now, we know that at some point in time, the FBI became involved in the investigation. Were they involved at this point?
No.
When the FBI did become involved, did Mike Conrad become involved?
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you a little bit about jurisdiction, just because I've seen on television, on the crime scene programs that we have, it seems like the FBI shows up and it all goes to them. Is that what happened in this case?
No.
What was the FBI's role in regard to this case?
They assisted us, and Mr. Mike Conrad, he was with us, and we used his resources. He made contact, for example, in San Antonio with other special agents, and so he was our point of contact outside of our state as well as in our state.
On December 27, 2009, again, when you're being briefed by the different detectives and officers and you're there at the station, did you also learn that the Smiths had given Gabriel to Elizabeth Johnson on December 18th?
Yes.
Now, did you have contact with Tammy Smith on that date, on December 27th?
Yes.
And after you had contact with Tammy Smith, did you learn about the church at 8620 East McDonald Drive?
Yes.
And is that the church that Detective Ryberg and Detective Larson searched?
Correct.
And on that same date, was Detective Campbell obtaining Elizabeth Johnson's phone records?
Correct.
Did you speak to a person by the name of Soren Staniso?
Yes.
And how was it that you obtained the name about Soren? How did you obtain that information?
Detective Campbell, he had, as I said earlier, he had been dispatched to assist us, and so he was doing our phone records. He then provided me with a telephone number of a person that was communicating with Elizabeth Johnson, and that was a local, it was a number that was coming back to locally. So then roughly at 23:55 hours, I telephoned that number. A male identified himself as Soren Stanasco. I identified myself, and then I asked him if he would be willing to participate in a police interview.
And did you then meet with Soren in person?
Yes,
And when you met with Soren, did he attempt to try and reach Elizabeth by telephone while you were there?
yes,
And was he able to do so?
no.
And so Soren was in the Phoenix area at the time?
He was in Tempe.
And did your contact with Soren then go into the early morning hours of December 28, 2009?
Yes.
On December 28, 2009, after contacting Soren, what did you do?
I then returned to the police station. Detective Larson was also with me. I then gave a briefing to Sergeant King as to what our investigative findings were after interviewing Soren Stanasco. This was roughly about 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
And what did you do after you did the briefing there?
At approximately 3 o'clock in the morning, we had made a decision to contact the Maricopa County Search Warrant Center and to request an emergency order protection on behalf of Logan McCreary and Gabriel Scott Johnson.
And then did you obtain that emergency order protection?
Yes,
And later that morning, did Detective Thompson arrive to assist in the investigation?
yes,
Did you brief him?
yes. I went home roughly Monday morning about 4 o'clock in the morning. I then returned to the station roughly about 10 o'clock in the morning Monday. And I then provided Detective John Thompson with a briefing as to what we had the following evening and early morning.
Did you have further contact with Soren that day?
I did. At noon, I went to his place of employment located in the city of Tempe, and I briefly interviewed him to see if he had any contact with Elizabeth Johnson to find out if she had called him, and he informed me that he didn't have any further follow-up information.
And at that point, did you then later that day learn that there had been a hearing held that Detective Duplessis and Logan had testified?
Yes,
And did you learn that there was a temporary custody warrant issued for Logan to take Gabriel into custody?
yes,
And also had an arrest warrant been issued for Elizabeth Johnson at that point?
yes,
Was that for custodial interference?
correct.
And was information entered into a national database regarding Gabriel Johnson?
That is correct.
And how does that work?
That is what we refer to as NCIC. That is the National Crime and Information Center, and this is monitored by the FBI.
Did you talk to Logan that day?
Yes.
And what subject was it that you were discussing with Logan at that point?
I had contact with him in the afternoon. I wanted to provide him with an update as to what we had to this point. He then informed me of a telephone conversation that he had with Tam and Jack Smith.
And did his informing you of the telephone call concern you at all?
Yes, it did.
Did it have any effect on your investigation?
Yes, it did.
And how did it affect the investigation?
Tammy and Jack Smith, their names had come up from the first day, from Sunday, the day prior, although I wasn't sure as to their involvement. Then I had a phone call the following day, and Logan McCreary provided me with further information, and this then concerned me as to I was trying to figure out if they were involved or not involved in this investigation.
And Detective, then did that same day on December 28, 2009, did you talk to Tammy Smith again?
Yes,
Was that on the phone?
yes.
And Detective, as you well know, any conversations that you've had with Tammy Smith at this point are hearsay, but what was the purpose of your calling her that day?
I contacted her to inform her that we possibly were going to use America's Most Wanted. I wanted her to understand that the problem, if she thought it was pretty small, could actually become a very large, complex problem. So I wanted to plant a seed in her mind in case she had any information. I wanted her to come forward at this point.
And then did you have further contact with Tammy Smith on December 29, 2009?
Yes,
And on that same day, were you also advised of the MySpace update about Elizabeth using a web address in Miami Beach?
Yes.
On December 30th, 2009, did you learn about the Miami Beach hostile at that point?
Yes,
And did you learn that Elizabeth had been taken into custody and Gabriel was not with her?
I did.
On December 31st, 2009, were you advised of Special Agent Chavez's interview with Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes.
And then did you also then learn that Elizabeth had been in San Antonio, Texas?
Yes.
Did you talk again with Tammy Smith on that day?
Yes, I did.
What was the purpose of you meeting with Tammy Smith on that day?
Well, I had interviewed her prior. I also had interviewed her December 29th of 2009, which I had some concerns. I then returned with Detective Bryberg on December 31st, 2009 to inform her that Elizabeth Johnson had in fact been arrested and she did not have Gabriel Scott Johnson with her. I wanted to, at this point, see if she had any further information in reference to Gabriel Scott Johnson's location.
And at that point, did you learn anything new that would help you find Gabriel?
No.
Did you also have a conversation with Tammy Smith about contacting Logan?
Yes.
What did you tell Tammy about contact with Logan?
I asked Tammy Smith to no longer contact him as he also had informed her.
On January 1st, 2010, was that the day Detective Ryberg interviewed Elizabeth Johnson's twin brother, Robert Johnson?
Correct.
And did Detective Ryberg also talk to Elizabeth's grandfather, Bob Johnson?
Correct.
And did Detective Ryberg on that same day talk to Elizabeth's grandmother, Sylvette Johnson?
Correct.
Is Sylvette Johnson right? Sylvette.
Sylvette.
Sylvette. Is her last name Pluckett?
Yes.
On January 2nd, 2010, did you follow up on a tip yourself regarding someone who said that they saw somebody who looked like Elizabeth Johnson living in Alabama?
Correct.
Did you obtain any useful information from that tip?
No.
Did you receive further communication from Tammy Smith on that day?
Yes.
Did that give you any concerns about your investigation at that point?
Correct.
On January 3rd, 2010, did you have further conversation with Tammy Smith?
Correct.
And did you also talk to Bob Johnson, Elizabeth's grandfather?
Yes.
And based on Bob Johnson's meeting with you, did you learn about something that the police were going to deal with on January 4th, 2010?
We had, January 4th, we had scheduled a press conference.
Well, let's talk about the press conference. So you had a press conference scheduled for January 4th, 2010. What was the purpose of that press conference?
That was for Mr. Logan McCreary, along with his father, Mr. Frank McCreary, to participate in a press conference with the City of Tempe Police for the media to be provided with further information. And so we were at the Apache station located in Tempe preparing both of them for the press conference.
And on that date, January 4th, 2010, did you also learn that there would be a media interview between Bob Johnson, Tammy Smith, and Elizabeth Johnson that would be held the next day?
Correct.
And that's the media conversation that we've already heard when Detective Thompson testified?
Yes.
On January 6th, 2010, did you work with Brian McCluskey, Detective McCluskey, on the wiretap?
I did.
And then on January 7th, 2010, did you travel to Florida?
I did.
And what was the purpose of your traveling to Florida?
I arrived with a sergeant and another detective, and this was for the extradition of Elizabeth Johnson's arrest for her outstanding warrant.
And then on January 8, 2010, did you talk to Sergeant Schoenfeld in the Miami Beach Police Department?
Yes, I did.
Did you interview a person by the name of Michael Kadash?
I did.
And we've seen some records that have been admitted and talked about earlier that had the name of a person that looked like it was spelled M-I-C-H-E-L. Was that determined to be Michael Kadash?
It was.
And who is Michael Kadash?
He is the owner of the Santa Barbara Hostel located at 230 20th Street in Miami, Florida.
And so you met with Mr. Kadash at that point?
Yes.
Now the transition point.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take our lunch break. We'll come back at 1:30. Until then, remember the admonition, and we'll see you at 1:30. Okay, please be seated, everyone. You can step down. You don't have to stay up there. Anybody need to talk about anything on the record before we break?
Your Honor, we do need to put on the record that per agreement, we stipulated to the replacement of the disc that's in exhibit number 13.
Okay. You agree?
Yes, Judge, we agree with that.
Okay, so we replaced the disc that is exhibit 13 based on the edits that were necessary to that disc, I believe.
That's correct.
Anything else we need to put on the record?
Briefly, Judge, counsel for the state went into question about the media, press conferences with Logan, things like that. I think that probably doesn't have any relevance at all to this case. I think it gets close to going to Logan McQuarrie's state of mind. I think probably in a way that runs afoul of what the court's order was. I didn't object because I didn't want to draw attention to it, but I would just ask the court to instruct counsel for the state to sort of stay away from that area in the future. I'm sure there were lots of press conferences and lots of attempts with Logan to talk to the press. I don't think that's relevant to this case, and I don't think the jury ought to hear any more about that.
Not too particularly concerned about the fact of a press conference coming out. What's said in the press conference could be problematic. I don't think it's shocking to the jury that there may have been press conferences. I don't get the sense we're going to talk any more about press conferences anyway. I don't think.
No, and actually, Your Honor, my question was intended to list the information about the recording that we heard yesterday. And Detective Ramirez was remembering the press conference. I was asking her about learning that the recording, the interview would happen the next day.
Judge, I see it as an effort to get to the heartstrings, and I think that there's enough of that in this case. We know Logan missed his son and wanted his son back. I think sort of pronouncements and pleadings to the nation about where's my child, I think is probably going too far. But maybe it's a non-issue if the state's sort of passed it.
I think what Ms. Andrews just said is consistent with the time frame. I think what she was trying to set up was to allow Detective Ramirez to testify regarding the January 5th recording and to set it up in time. I don't think it was focused on the press conference. I don't see it as a big issue. I don't think the state generally has sought to circumvent directly or indirectly my order that Mr. McQuarrie's state of mind is not an issue in this case and has complied with my order, so I don't see an issue right now, and I don't see anything on the horizon that's troubling me based on the questions that have been asked so far. Okay, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, may we have permission for Detective Ramirez to go ahead and open an exhibit that hasn't been previously opened?
And as long as she does it here with, what number is it?
Number 86.
No, if, I understand the Court of Appeals doesn't want us to open an exhibit, but the fact is if we need it in this case, we're going to open it and I can deal with the Court of Appeals.
I don't think this was admitted in the prior case.
It wasn't admitted.
I don't think so.
We can talk about it.
But the exhibit was not admitted. We're talking about, so the record's clear, we're talking about an exhibit that was marked in the Tammy Smith case but not admitted, is that correct? We think it was maybe admitted.
I don't think so. It just, if it were admitted, it would have been opened, I assume.
What exhibit is it here?
It's number 86.
Can we cross-reference it? 86. Yes, 86, not 18. We're good. 86 was not admitted. We thought it was a lower number. 86 was not admitted in the Tammy Smith case, which means you can open it up here from the Court of Appeals perspective. So why don't we go ahead and have her open up right now where everybody's standing here? Do we need to do that?
I was actually just going to do them through the detective
Okay.
as I get there on the time frame.
So there's no need to emphasize them even more than that by having you read them to the jury, so.
I'm fine either way. Sometimes people want me to do it.
I was just going to publish them at the time that we got there in the timeline.
Okay, that's fine. Anything else on the record?
Not from the state.
No, Judge.
Okay, off the record, let's talk about scheduling so we're on the same page. As I understand it, the state intends on resting after Detective Ramirez. Is that correct?
After we publish, after Detective Ramirez is off the stand, we're going to publish some exhibits that have not been published previously.
Okay. Are you going to do it, you're going to publish exhibits with no witness on the stand?
They've already been admitted, Your Honor. We reserve publishing by agreement, we reserve publishing them. We admitted them and reserved publishing them so that they could be properly edited and we could do the transcripts for them.
Judge, I guess so long as they're just going to play them and there's not going to be any statements about them, I guess.
Okay. All right, so you're just going to play recordings.
They were admitted through Officer Snell.
Okay.
We agreed to admit them but not yet publish them because we were trying to deal with the transcript issue.
Okay, so you're going to publish them without comment. Obviously, you don't have a witness to say anything about them. You can just simply say, this is Exhibit X, previously admitted. Okay.
Judge, I'd be happy to comment about them while she's playing them, just to keep it entertaining.
We could put a microphone on you and just let you comment as we go.
Just trying to help out.
Okay. All right, so we'll do that, and then the state will be finished after the publication, which we believe will be this afternoon, correct? Sanders?
Yes.
All right, and then what we've talked about is that we'll end for the day when that occurs. I'm going to tell the jury that typically there's a transition into whatever the next phase is, and that we're not going to do it today. Since we have off tomorrow, I don't want to start that phase on Thursday, and that means we're going to take a break, which is going to end up being a 2-week break, because for the reasons we talked about yesterday in terms of us needing to talk about jury instructions on Monday the 15th, we'll next have the jury back here on Tuesday, October 16th. Does everybody agree with that? And while you're thinking, at that point, one of two things will happen. The defense will have evidence, or we'll go into closing arguments. Mr. Victor will let us know on Monday the 15th which that's going to be.
Okay, Judge. Judge, based on what you said previously, which was that you didn't want to resolve jury instructions Monday morning and then at least potentially move to a closing argument if there's not going to be testimony from Ms. Johnson. Based on what you said, then I would agree with Tuesday, but if I could persuade you into changing your mind and doing it Monday afternoon, then we could do it Monday.
No, we had this discussion yesterday. Ms. Andrews expressed a concern, I think a valid concern, that if you had expressed the intent to submit perhaps several special instructions, if she learns for the first time about those special instructions and that I'm going to allow them on Monday morning, it's not fair to make her come back on Monday afternoon and react to it in a closing argument. I agree with that, especially because we have time. And to go into Tuesday, I think we're taking such a long break, it really doesn't matter. And I don't want to create a situation where I don't think she's got a fair opportunity. It may be that at the end of the day, it really didn't matter, but I'd rather be careful. So we're going to end up coming back on Tuesday to either go with the defense case, or we'll close on Tuesday, and we'll discuss that on Monday the 15th, exactly what's going to happen one way or the other.
And Judge, I'll get you some, I think I'm going to get you some specials on Thursday.
Okay, and then we are going to come back Thursday at 10:30 to talk about jury instructions and at least move the ball along, get a draft going, and then we'll finalize them on Monday the 15th. Okay, so we'll pick up again with Detective Ramirez at 1:30, and I'll see everybody at 1:30. The presence of the jury panel, Ms. Johnson's present. I understand that Ms. Johnson has said that she does not want to be here for the rest of Detective Ramirez's testimony and perhaps other evidence that's going to be produced. Is that correct, Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. Let me talk to you a little bit about that. We've talked before about issues you might have being out here. First of all, you've done well so far. We've had really not very many issues, and I think you've done a really good job. If you feel like you can't be here this afternoon, it's your right to not be here. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen with you not being here so you understand exactly how that's going to play out. If you're not here, I'm going to tell the jury that you have the right to choose whether or not to be present. I'm going to tell them that they're not to hold it against you or otherwise consider your presence or non-presence in any way in reaching their decision, considering the evidence or any other aspect of the trial. Even though I tell them that, human nature is such that I worry about you not being here, and I worry about them sitting here thinking, why isn't she here? Is there some kind of issue? And so for your sake, I don't like you not being here, because I think even though I tell the jury not to speculate, I worry that they might, but I can't control that. You have to balance that with If you feel like you can't be here without having some kind of outburst or you just can't deal with it, then that's your choice and you can make it. If you decide to stay, we've already talked about what would happen if there is an outburst going forward, and we don't want that to happen. So I want to make sure you understand what's going to happen. If you choose not to be here for this afternoon, then what I think physically is going to happen is you're going to wait here, which means right back, I think, here on this floor while the trial continues. I'm not going to be inclined, if you change your mind, to say, come on back out and have you come in and going, because that doesn't work either. You will be able to be here for the next court session after that, which I think is going to be Thursday when we talk about jury instructions, and certainly when the jury comes back. So you can make that call about being here, but if you decide that you're not going to be here this afternoon, then you're not here this afternoon and that's it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you can make the decision, and I'll let you talk to your attorneys about what you want to do. Do you have any questions for me or want to talk to me about it? And before you do, I want you to be careful. I don't want you to tell me anything that your attorneys have said, but do you have any questions about what I've just said?
No.
Okay. Do you want to talk to your attorneys for a couple minutes and decide what you want to do?
No.
Okay, you already know what you want to do, obviously?
I really don't feel like I can be here.
And if you feel like you can't be here, then you can make that choice and you're not here, and we'll proceed as I just told you we would. So here's what we're going to do. So it's clear for the record. I'm going to basically have you back there. I'm going to ask the deputies to stay here, and I need to do that because I've told the jury that the deputies are here regardless, so whether you're here or not, the deputies get to sit here during trial, and they will. And then we'll go until we're finished, and you're not going to be here for the remainder of Detective Ramirez's testimony. And then, as I understand it, the next thing that's going to happen is the state intends on playing some evidence that's been admitted without a witness being here, and then I think the state's intending on resting, and that's what's going to happen. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I think that's how we're going to proceed. I'm assuming that you're going to go out, they're going to get you set up, and then I'm going to come back out and I'm going to explain to the jury your right to choose not to be here, and we're going to pick back up with Detective Ramirez. Anything from the attorneys? Mr. Victor?
Yes, Judge, I just want the record to be clear that the sole reason for her decision today is just because this testimony, she's anticipating it's going to be very emotional for her. We've told her what the testimony is going to be. She understands there's going to be audio, and she's anticipating that because it's going to be emotional testimony for her, she would prefer not to be in the courtroom for that reason alone. I don't want anybody to speculate about any other possible reasons for her, at least not other than the jury, but other possible reasons for her absence here today.
And that's fine. I mean, that doesn't change what I'm going to instruct the jury, and that doesn't change her right to choose whether or not, but I note that for the record. Anything from the state's perspective?
No, you're not.
Does anyone disagree that I should basically read the instruction or a variation of the instruction relating to a defendant's non-presence at trial?
We don't disagree, Judge.
Any issue from the state's perspective?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So, Ms. Johnson, we'll go ahead and have you go back.
Thank you.
All right. And I want you to make sure you can communicate with your attorneys regarding Thursday. You have the right to be there or not. And then as we go, each time you have the right to choose, but the next time we'll have the jury back in after today is likely going to be Tuesday, the 16th, I think, the way it looks right now. Okay?
All right.
All right. Yeah. All right. So the record's clear. There is a Raji defendant absent at trial. It reads pretty simply, you are not to consider or speculate about the defendant's absence from the courtroom. It is not evidence, and you must not consider it in deciding if the state has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, I think probably to be safe, I ought to just read it straight up, that instruction, and not add any flourish to it or anything else. I just read that and we go. Anybody disagree?
Not from the state.
We don't disagree, Judge, but that probably now would be an instruction that we would re-urge for final jury instructions as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay.
We don't object to that, no.
I'm sorry?
No objection.
Okay,
please.
all right. So it will find its way into the final jury instruction as well. We have to wait for our deputies to get back. I'm going to step off only because I don't want the jury to think that we just had a situation where she got up and left, so I can just come out and all things are normal except for that. So as soon as our deputies are back in, then we're going to bring the jury back in. I'll read the instruction and we'll continue with Detective Ramirez. Let the record reflect the presence of the jury panel, counsel, and that the defendant is not present. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Johnson's not here. I want to read you something in that regard. You are not to consider or speculate about the defendant's absence from the courtroom. It is not evidence, and you must not consider it in deciding if the state has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. So we're going to go ahead and continue where we were when we left off. Detective Ramirez was on the stand, so come on back up. Of course, you're still under oath. And Ms. Andrews, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, where we left off is we were talking about Michael Kadash at the hostel in Miami Beach, Florida. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Detective, I've just shown you exhibits number 115. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes.
Is that a stipulation the parties have entered into regarding Michael Kadash?
Yes.
And I've also showed you exhibit number 86.001. Do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
What is exhibit 86.001?
When I was interviewing Mr. Michael Kadash at the Santa Barbara hostel, I asked him for a copy of Elizabeth Johnson's registration card. He then provided me a copy of that, and that's what I have.
Your Honor, at this time I move for the admission of exhibits 115 and 86.001.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibits 115 and 86.001 are admitted.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
You may.
Okay, Detective, what I have up here now is exhibit number 115. Just for the sake of getting this into the record, would you mind reading what this says up here?
Sure. It's the stipulation to the testimony of Michael Kadash.
And if you could go ahead and read into the record what the stipulation is.
Plaintiff, the state of Arizona, by and through Deputy County Attorney Angela Andrews and defendant Elizabeth Johnson, by and through undersigned counsel Mark J. Victor, hereby stipulate Michael Kadash will testify to the following. Mr. Kadash is the owner of the Santa Barbara hostel located at 230 20th Street, number 221, Miami Beach, Florida. On December 29th of 2009, Ms. Johnson made contact with Mr. Kadash at the reception desk of the hostel, inquiring about staying there, and stated her name was Victoria Evans. Ms. Johnson was unable to produce ID stating that she had lost her wallet. Ms. Johnson asked to use a computer. Mr. Kadash allowed Ms. Johnson to use his desk computer. Mr. Kadash drove Ms. Johnson to a nearby Ross store.
And for the record, it appears that maybe we misspelled Michael. Is that, we talked before about records showing Michel. That would also be Michael Kadash?
Correct. Ms. Johnson paid $400 and completed a registration card, which Mr. Kadash provided to Tempe Police Detective Patricia Ramirez. Ms. Johnson did not have Gabriel Johnson with her when she arrived at the hostel or during her time there.
And this stipulation is signed by the attorneys and Elizabeth Johnson?
Correct.
And Detective, I'm now publishing exhibit 86.001. And do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And read to us what's written on that exhibit.
It's a registration card with the name of Victoria Evans. The street address is listed as 133 Robin Avenue. City is Atlanta, state Georgia. Emergency phone number Sylvette Puckett with a phone number of 8555. Car license plate lists none. Number in party list 1, and the date is listed as 12/29/09 with a guest signature of Victoria Evans.
And that address in Atlanta, Georgia, do you know what that is?
I do not.
Detective, I want to take you now to January 11th, 2010. On that date, is that when you first learned about the media tip regarding Craig Cherry?
Correct.
And had you had any information regarding Craig Cherry prior to the media tip?
No, I had not.
So in your conversations with Tammy Smith, that never came up?
It did not.
On January 12th, 2010, was that the day that Craig Cherry agreed to speak with Detective Ryberg and Detective Duplessis?
He did.
And he actually agreed to speak to them he would speak to them the next day, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you talk to Judge McVeigh on that day?
I did on
On
January 12th,
12th, yes.
2010. Yes.
And Judge McVeigh is the judge we saw on the recording of the court hearing from December 17, 2009?
That's correct.
And was the subject of your conversation with Judge McVeigh the Craig Cherry being on the document?
Correct.
And then on that day, January 12, 2010, is that the day that a search warrant was requested for Elizabeth Johnson's home?
Yes.
Now, Elizabeth Johnson's home had previously been searched to find Gabriel Johnson, correct?
Correct.
What was the purpose of going back now and doing a search warrant?
The first search warrant was specifically to look for Gabriel Johnson. The second search warrant was for any items of evidentiary value to this investigation. And so I drafted a search warrant and listed in that search warrant what we were looking for, which was more items such as laptop, any type of journaling, information specific with Elizabeth Johnson and her location, or if she, so looking more at this point for specific items versus the first search warrant was for the baby.
And was there anything found in that search warrant that helped assist the police in locating where Gabriel Johnson might be?
No.
On January 13, 2010, did you talk to John Johnson?
I did.
And who is John Johnson?
He is the assistant to Judge McVeigh.
And was that conversation in regard to the documents with Craig Cherry's name?
It was.
And on January 14, 2010, did you have the opportunity to interview Tammy Smith?
I did.
And at the time you interviewed Tammy Smith, did you have the opportunity to view the documents that had Craig Cherry's name on them?
Correct. That was just prior to the interview. I reviewed them.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 138. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes.
And let me ask you some questions. On January 14th, 2010, well, let me take you back. We heard some testimony from Detective Naomi Galbraith, who indicated that she had obtained some documents and provided them to a DPS handwriting analyst by the name of Alan Kreidel. And then at some point, I'm assuming, and she indicated she got a report back from Alan Kreidel.
Correct.
Now, that was not on January 14th, 2010. That was sometime later.
Correct.
But on January 14th, 2010, you had the opportunity to look at the documents that were eventually given to Alan Kreidel to look at.
Correct.
And I believe Detective Galbraith testified that she had had some handwriting samples that she provided to Alan Kreidel.
Correct.
And are those handwriting samples some that had handwriting of Tammy Smith and some that had handwriting of Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes.
Now, in regard to the handwriting samples of Elizabeth Johnson, were those handwriting samples obtained from the search warrant at Elizabeth Johnson's home?
I believe they are from the search warrant, yes, from a journal.
So they're not actually handwriting samples that Elizabeth Johnson filled out for you?
No, that's correct.
And so at the time that Alan Kreidel had them, they were believed to be Elizabeth Johnson's handwriting?
Correct.
And per stipulation, Your Honor, at this time I move to admit exhibit number 138.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 138 is admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
Detective, I'm again going to ask you to look at this and read into the record for us the stipulation. You could read the title here.
It's the stipulation regarding admission of DPS handwriting analyst Alan Kreidel's report.
If you could go ahead and tell us what it says.
Sure. Sorry, I don't have reading glasses today. The plaintiff of the state of Arizona, by and through Deputy County Attorney Angela K. Andrews, and defendant Elizabeth Johnson, by and through undersigned counsel Mark J. Victor, hereby stipulate to the admission of the report provided by DPS certified handwriting analyst Alan Kreidel. The parties stipulate that Alan Kreidel has marked with the color pink all items be concluded were written by Tammy Smith based on his comparison of known handwriting samples of Tammy Smith. The parties stipulate that Alan Kreidel has marked with color blue all items he concluded were probably written by Elizabeth Johnson based on his comparison of handwriting samples believed to be those of Elizabeth Johnson. The parties stipulated to the redaction of some items from the report to comply with the legal rules of admissible evidence.
And this stipulation is signed by the lawyers and Elizabeth Johnson.
That is correct.
And Detective, have you seen this report before today?
Yes.
I'm showing you the first page of Alan Kreidel's report. Can you go ahead and tell us what this says?
Sure. It's a listing for, it's the scientific examination report. The items are listed as number 46, copy of a lined piece of paper bearing known writing of Elizabeth Johnson. Item number 47, Superior Court of Arizona, Maricopa County, Child Custody, Parenting Time, Child Support Form from Case Frank Charles 2009-007470, dated 12/14/09, bearing question handwritten entries. Number 57, two-page handwritten list, number 1, number 13, number 1, number 2, bearing known writing of Tammy Smith. The examination requested is forensic document examination. The results are listed as examination and comparison of question item number 47 with known items number 46 and number 57, resulted in the following conclusions. It is in the opinion of the undersigned that the following handwritten entries on item number 47 were executed by the writer of item number 57, Tammy Smith.
And where it lists here under page 1, does he identify what items on the document he believes were written by Tammy Smith?
That is correct.
I'm not going to have you read all of those. And if you could just go ahead and read the conclusion that starts right here.
Sure. It is in the opinion of the undersigned that the remaining handwritten entries on item number 47 were probably executed by writer of item number 46, Elizabeth Johnson. Additional known writing of Elizabeth Johnson is needed before a more definite conclusion can be reached.
And is that because Alan Kreidel didn't have items that he knew for sure were written by Elizabeth Johnson?
Correct. I requested during the interview that Tammy Smith provide me specifically with a handwriting sample versus I didn't have that for Elizabeth Johnson.
And this page here, does this appear to be notes that Alan Kreidel wrote regarding his report?
Yes.
And do you recognize the initials down here as being Alan Kreidel's?
I do.
And the next page and the page after that, do you recognize what this document is?
I do.
Is this a chain of custody document?
Yes.
Does that identify the items that were sent by the Tempe Police Department to Alan Kreidel and then back again?
Yes.
The next page is more notes by Alan Kreidel.
Correct.
So now, Detective, I want to take you to the document. Is this the same document that you looked at after Detective Duplessis brought it back from court?
Yes. I looked at that on the 14th, roughly about 1:30 p.m., just prior to the interview.
Now, when you looked at it, what did you observe?
He provided me this document just prior. I had a scheduled interview with Ms. Smith just roughly half an hour later. So I looked at the original document. What I noticed is it appeared as though there were two different handwriting entries on this form. And I also noticed that Elizabeth Johnson's name is Elizabeth Joanne Johnson, Joanne spelled with an E at the end. And I noticed that the E was missing in certain spots throughout this form.
And so you know from investigation that Elizabeth's middle name is Joanne, spelled with an E at the end.
Correct.
Now, it's very difficult to see here on the Elmo. It's much easier to see on the document itself. But do you see places marked in color?
Just barely.
It's a little easier
Yes,
to
I
see.
can see it
here.
better,
There's some
yeah.
pink and some blue.
Correct.
And those, according to Alan Kreidel's report, identify the pink, the handwriting he attributed to Tammy Smith, and the blue is the handwriting he attributed to Elizabeth Johnson.
That is correct.
And so there are items that are pink and blue throughout the document.
Correct.
Now, in particular, I want to concentrate on the writing that is here. What does this say where I'm pointing here?
Well, it's marked relationship to minor, let me read here, relationship to minor children for whom person wants the custody/parenting time order. And it's marked under other, and it lists there are 2 potential fathers. Although we were together at the time of birth, Logan signs the birth certificate.
And that appears to be writing that Alan identified as Tammy Smith's.
Correct.
But just above that, we have writing that Alan Kreidel identified as probably belonging to Elizabeth Johnson.
Correct.
And below that, we have writing that Alan Kreidel identified as belonging to Elizabeth Johnson.
That is correct.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's page 4 of 6 on this document. Zoom out just a little bit. I want you to note right here where there's notations marked in blue. Do you see those notations?
Yes, I do.
And then after that, there's some notations marked in pink.
Correct.
Would you go ahead and read what's written there in pink?
Asking Logan McCreary and Craig Cherry to submit to a paternity test and random drug testing when the father is submitted.
And what else does it say there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I got it. And so is this where you noted the name Craig Cherry for the first time?
Correct.
And then after that, there are additional writing that Alan Kreidel attributed to probably being Elizabeth Johnson.
Correct.
And then on this last page, you could just read what line 4 says.
Other orders I'm requesting, that says subpoena for DNA. Yeah, I can't read the end. And test to establish paternity. Oh, I'm sorry, blood test to establish paternity.
Thank you, Detective. Detective, since we're talking about stipulations, I'm going to go ahead and show you what's been marked as exhibit number 116. And actually, Your Honor, I'm going to just move for the admission of this exhibit by stipulation.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 116, correct? 116? Exhibit 116 is admitted.
And Detective, if you could go ahead and read for us the title.
Sure, it's stipulation to the testimony of Frank Velazquez.
And if you go ahead and read further.
Plaintiff, the state of Arizona, by and through Deputy County Attorney Angela Andrews and defendant Elizabeth Johnson, by and through undersigned counsel Mark J. Victor, hereby stipulate Frank Velazquez will testify to the following. Mr. Velazquez was the general manager of the Homegate Studios and Suites located at 10950 Laureate Drive, San Antonio, Texas, during the time period of December 20th, 2009 through December 27th of 2009. Ms. Johnson checked into Homegate Inn on December 20th, 2009 and paid cash for 1 week stay. Ms. Johnson mentioned she was visiting family, but he had no further specific conversation with Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson had Gabriel Johnson with her when she checked into Homegate. Mr. Velazquez did not see Ms. Johnson again and was unsure of when she physically left home gate because she had never checked out at the front desk. Ms. Johnson was driving a white sedan.
And this is signed by the lawyers and Ms. Johnson?
Correct.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 137.
Okay.
Do you recognize those documents as being a Superior Court minute entry from December 17, 2009?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I move for the admission of exhibit number 137.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 137 is admitted.
And after you talked to Tammy Smith, and later on when you received Alan Kreidel's report, did Alan Kreidel's report corroborate information you received from Tammy Smith in the interview?
It did.
And then on January 14th, 2010, did you also participate in a search warrant at the Smith's residence?
I did.
And we already heard testimony from some detectives regarding some of those items obtained in the search warrant. Based on other than what the detectives have already testified and has already been admitted, was there anything else found in the search warrant that helped regarding trying to find Gabriel Johnson?
No.
And at that particular time, did you learn the name of Deanne Ayala?
I did.
And so then on January 15, 2010, did you contact Deanne Ayala?
I did.
And how did you get that contact information for Deanne?
Tammy Smith, during her interview the day prior, she had provided me with some follow-up information on Deanne, although the name was incorrect, but it was very close. So we did a records check, and also we realized that we had a tip that had come in, and during a briefing, also we had a phone call that was received by the Tempe Police Department, and it was Deanne who had phoned in.
And at the time, did you know it was Deanne who had phoned in, or did you learn that later?
No, I learned that later.
Because she didn't leave a name?
Correct.
On January 22nd, 2010, did you meet with Elizabeth Johnson?
I did.
And when you met with her, at the time, was she represented by two attorneys by the name of Jennifer Rock and Vanessa Smith?
She was.
And when you met with Elizabeth Johnson, were they present?
They were.
Were there also members of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office present?
That's correct.
What was the purpose of meeting with Elizabeth Johnson on January 22nd, 2010?
The purpose was to use an investigative tool that is a confrontational phone call. So I arrived specifically for the purpose of utilizing that investigative tool, a confrontational phone call.
Well, tell us what exactly is a confrontation call and how it's used as an investigative tool.
Sure. We use this with a victim. The purpose of that is to obtain factual statements from the victim and parties involved. This could be a suspect involved in an investigation, or it could be an investigative lead. What I do is I prepare a victim just prior to that phone call, and the preparation is for specific information that is in an investigation. So for example, I work sexual assault investigations. So I will tell a victim that I need he or she to be specific and not use general terms on the phone call. Why did you hurt me? Why did you hurt me? Could be an emotional hurt, physical hurt, sexual hurt. So we go over what is involved in the investigation and that it needs to be specific. So we do some preparation and then make the phone call. I am listening to it. It is recorded.
Now, is a confrontation call always conducted between a victim and some other party?
No.
In your course of work, is it usually conducted between a victim and some other party?
Correct.
And are you trying to obtain some factual information about what information you already have, some corroboration or non-corroboration to that information?
I am.
And When you do a confrontation call, you already talked about meeting with them, so you go over some instructions and talk about how the confrontation call is done.
Correct.
Are there ever times where you suggest questions for the person conducting the call to ask the other person on the phone?
Yes,
And you indicated these are recorded?
they are recorded.
And in Arizona, it's legal to record somebody on the telephone if they don't know they're being recorded.
That is correct.
Now, what was the we already heard from Special Agent Chavez testifies to some statements that Elizabeth had made to him in regard to Tammy Smith. And we heard some statements from Detective Velazquez about some statements Elizabeth Johnson had made regarding Tammy Smith. What was the purpose of your meeting with Elizabeth and having a confrontation call with Elizabeth?
It's important to note that at this point, the time frame is January 22nd of 2010, and we still, our department, we still do not know where Gabriel Scott Johnson is. So we were looking for any information that could lead us to Gabriel Scott Johnson. I had been interviewing Tammy Smith consistently. She had been giving me many statements, and also we had Elizabeth Johnson. So the purpose was to put them together on a phone and see if we could get factual statements from either side.
And Elizabeth Johnson knew that she was participating in this confrontation call with you?
That is correct.
Did you meet with her in person?
I did.
Did you give her some instructions on how it would work?
I did.
And her attorneys were there during the whole process?
Correct.
Did she agree to do the call?
Initially, she had declined. She did know prior to my arrival to see her that this was the purpose. When I initially arrived, she had changed her mind, and I had explained what was going on. I had explained certain parts of the investigation, and I had encouraged her to continue with the investigative tool because it is useful.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 136. Is that an exhibit number that's connected to a disk that we put in the laptop earlier this afternoon?
It is.
And does that disc contain the confrontation call that you conducted between Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith?
It does.
Now, at this time, I move for the admission of exhibit number 136.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 136 is admitted.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
You may. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear another audio portion, and again, we're going to pass out transcripts, so we'll wait to play it until you get the transcripts. And the parties have agreed that these transcripts accurately depict what you're going to hear.
Your Honor, for the record, the call is approximately 25 minutes.
Okay, so it's a 25-minute long call. Make sure everybody's got their transcripts. Looks like they do. So, Ms. Andrews, you may go ahead and publish it. Let me make sure we've got the right source up. We don't. Are you playing it off your laptop or?
I'll try that.
Okay. I think we got it set up, so we're good.
Are you ready to? Okay. Do you have the phone number that we dialed? That's it. Can you hear that?
And the key of who's who is on the front. You can see.
Hello? Yes? No. This is Elizabeth.
Okay, hold on.
It's very faint. Can you turn it on?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello?
Tammy?
Yes.
Hi, it's Elizabeth. Did my friend reach you? Did the three-way, did she say it was a three-way call?
No, she just said she had a call from Elizabeth.
Okay, yeah, she hung up. I was able to do, I used another girl's booking number to get through to you, and do a three-way call so it wouldn't be able to be recorded because we're not allowed to do three-way calls, but there's a way to do it so it can't be recorded, so. Yes, I want to let you know that, firsthand, okay? Alright, so needless to say, I am very, very upset at you, what you've been doing and saying I deceived you on the news and all that. And I really can't hide all of this anymore, your involvement in this and all the plans you made, and you're completely denying everything and saying you weren't
Wait, what
involved.
plans did I make? What are you talking about?
The plans, and you offered to hide me in Tennessee, you set up
No, that was said. We told the police all that. They know that. And we researched to see if you could change jurisdictions, and we found out that you couldn't. So then we told you need to come back. You can't change jurisdictions. They have all the proof in our computers. They can't, and we told them that from the beginning. And people have asked, do you feel deceived by her? And we've said, you know what? At times we do, but we don't know what to believe anymore because we don't know what to believe, And we've told people, though, over and over that we believe that baby's alive, and we believe that you did what you said, found the family and gave them the baby.
Yeah, you set it all up. They were your friends.
No, they weren't.
Yes.
Then who are they? Then what's their names if they're my friends?
I don't know. You set it all up in San Antonio.
Okay, why would you be lying about that now, saying that we set that up? Why would you say that? We have you on tape saying that you met these people in the park. We have you on tape saying that you had no idea that we had nothing to do with this. Now, why all of a sudden would you lie? And this is the thing. You can lie about it all you want, but we have solid proof and evidence, and they got that evidence a week ago, and now they know that we didn't have anything to do with it.
That's not true, Tammy.
Elizabeth, there is something seriously wrong with
there's nothing
you.
wrong with me. You're the one going around acting like a crazy person. You set all this up, and all I did was do what you told me to do.
And that's a lie, and we have solid proof, and the police already know that. We have solid proof that we did not do any of that. And the reason that we think that you deceived us is because the police are telling us that you are saying that we set this up, and we're like,
recorded the whole thing at my grandfather's. I didn't know what to say.
You didn't know what to say? You didn't want to...
You just came in, and I had, I didn't think any of this was going to happen.
Elizabeth, please just tell people, you've got to remember. If you remembered mine and Jackson Hannah's name after the very first time we met, you have to remember this family that you gave the baby to. You have to. I know you know it. And they're going to connect the dots. Somebody helped you.
Yeah,
and they know now that it wasn't us because we have solid proof. But they're now looking at your grandma and your grandpa. So, I'm hoping that, if whoever did help you, hopefully you come out sooner than later and they don't get in as much trouble as they could get in if you don't come up now, because they're looking at phone records.
They should be looking at your phone records.
Right, and now they looked at all of our phone records, and since the beginning, we told them, yes, we were going to help her go to Nashville. We had a house there. We had my stepson's condo there. We told them that from day one.
It was me who didn't want to go to Nashville.
You're right. You're right.
So
You didn't.
You talked about the San Antonio friends.
I talked about San Antonio friends?
Yes, you're
okay, you're not.
Friends.
Elizabeth, I don't know anyone in San Antonio. They already did the research and found out that I don't know anyone in San Antonio. That nobody. There are no dots that connect me to you in San Antonio. Huh?
Then it was Jack's friends, like you said.
Like who said it was Jack's friends?
It was Jack's friends. He was the one who had the great friends there.
Who told you that?
You.
I told you Jack had great friends in San Antonio.
Yes, and you were so happy that I went there.
Oh, right. That's right. Jack's saying that's right. But you didn't even know his name. He didn't give you their name.
So,
You know, if you needed help, he would let you know who that friend is. We've told the police that since day one. They already talked to this guy. He's a preacher. He's a very famous singer. He's a very famous gospel singer. They went to his house. They looked at his phone records. You never called the guy because you don't even know the guy's name.
no, I don't know the guy's name. You guys didn't give me
You're
his
right.
name, and you didn't give me his phone number, and I never did call him.
You're right. So
You guys
why are you
called him.
saying that we set you up
Because
with a
you guys
couple?
called him. I didn't call him.
We didn't call him, and he didn't call you. Why are you saying that we set you up with a couple that we didn't set you up with?
Yes, you did. You wanted the baby, and you had a million plans how to get the baby.
We were trying to help you keep custody. We said that we would adopt you. You could even live here and go to college. We would help you with the baby. Elizabeth, do you have like a multiple personality or something?
No, you do. You keep saying that you want to help me, keep telling my grandfather, and now you're like going, and then you try to lie about Craig Cherry, saying I just made that up, and I heard you talk about it when everything was your plan. And I did everything you told me to do, and I trusted you because you were so confident.
Elizabeth, I never told you to go to San Antonio.
No, you didn't.
We never told you anything.
I did that on my own, but you were happy that I went there.
We were happy you went there. Are you
Yeah,
kidding
because
me?
you had friends there.
I don't have friends there. Jack knew somebody. He knew somebody that could safely get you and this baby back here to go to court.
No, you never said that. That's not how it happened.
Elizabeth, if we set you up with the couple, then why can't you remember their name? If we set you up. Why can't you, if we set you up with a couple, then how come you don't have their name and phone numbers?
Names and numbers weren't exchanged.
Then how did we set you up with a couple?
For you.
How did I do that? I didn't know where you were.
Yes, you
San
did. You know
Antonio's
exactly
huge.
where I was.
How did we know exactly where you
I
were?
told you.
Huh?
I told you.
You didn't tell us where you were. You were in San Antonio. San Antonio's huge. It's like saying, okay, you're here in Phoenix, Arizona. We don't know where in Phoenix, Arizona. You could be anywhere. You know? Elizabeth, we have got to find that baby. And the only way to find that baby is for you to start talking. And you're not telling the truth. Lies won't get you anywhere.
No, you're not.
There are absolutely, they have already gone through all of our computers, and just so you know, we will be suing you. We will be suing you.
For what?
So no, for
me
what?
what? What did I do to you?
Destroying our lives. For
You ruined
destroying
my
our
life.
lives with your lies and
No,
by
I didn't
keeping
tell
your
you
mouth
any
shut.
lies.
Well,
You
we
ruined
had
my life. From the
slander.
very beginning, I trusted you and believed you, and you're totally not the person that you said you were.
Elizabeth, you have destroyed our lives by
What have I
keeping
done?
that-
I've been in jail. I haven't destroyed your life at all.
by doing what you have done
I
and
didn't
lying
say
to the
anything.
police
You
and
controlled
saying that
every
we
little
helped
thing and told me
you.
to do every little thing, and I did it, and I trusted you. And you said,
We
all
didn't
this
tell
stuff
you
the only thing I
everything
would
we
do
told you to
is
do, you wouldn't
representation.
do. How many times did I beg you to come back here? How many? How many times did I beg you to come back here?
A few times, but that was... Do you
More than a few. More than a
You were
few.
so excited.
We
and
gave
wanted-
you so many incentives to come back here. We begged you. I
gave
had
me
I
incentives
had
no
to
matter
talk to
what.
my attorney. I had to talk to Janet Morris. I had them try to beg you to come back here. We offered to pay for an attorney for you when you got back here so you could have custody. We offered to help you by bringing the baby to Logan on his visits. You know? What more could we have done to try to get you back here?
That's not sure you wanted me to do everything to get the baby.
Everything to get the baby.
Yeah.
How are we going to get the baby if you're out there? How does that get us the baby? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah,
Baby.
by all the plans that you came up with and that we did.
What are those plans? Tell me what those plans were that we came up with.
In San Antonio, when we were talking every single day,
Yeah, what were the plans?
you know what the plans were.
No, I don't. I'd love to hear them, though. I'd love to hear those plans. Can you think up of any?
Yes, I can. And I've already gone over them with you.
No, because I don't know what plans
What
you're
about
talking
going
about.
to Nashville? What about-
besides the one plan, the one idea that we had
You
of...
told me to go to a shelter and pretend like I was being beat.
No, I told you instead of running and hiding and changing your
told me to lie
identity,
and
go
tell people I was being
to a shelter. Don't just go run and hide your identity. Let somebody help you. That's not trying to get the baby. That's let somebody help you. Don't go hiding your identities and cutting and changing your hair like you said. No, we were trying to localize you, trying to find out where exactly you were, trying to get you
Like
to
getting me
a
to do
place.
illegal things and lie about the truth?
What?
By getting me to do illegal things and lie about the truth?
What is illegal? What was
Everything you
illegal
told
we
me to
tried
do
to
from
get
the
you to
very
do?
beginning was illegal. Lying about the paternity of the fatherhood, putting your cousin's name and
Okay, that wasn't, in my mind, that wasn't anything illegal. That was me helping you fill out your paperwork, and you didn't want to put the other guy's name down. Because it's the guy that you guys went to high school with, and Logan's friend. And me trying to help you and Logan not to start World War III because of the guy's name. And you didn't want to give his name. Still to this day, you haven't given his name.
There is no other guy's name to give.
Well, then why did you lie to me and tell me there was?
I didn't. You told me to put 3 or 4 names down, and I told you I didn't have any names to put down.
This call is stupid and useless, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I don't know why you can't just say where the baby is.
Because I don't know Gabriel.
Why would you give the baby to somebody and not even remember their names? You
Because the
remember
names
mine,
weren't
Jack's, and
discussed.
Hannah's.
The names weren't discussed. The names weren't the plan.
So when you called these people, you said on the 3rd day you gave them the baby. So when you called them, what did you just say? Did you call them and say,
I'd never called
Hey.
them. You called them. It was all set up through you. I did everything you told me to do.
"Oh, you are a liar, a liar.
No, you are.
Either that or you're
I've seen your
psychotic."
interviews and everything you've been saying and doing and throwing people under the bus, and you've thrown me under the bus.
Elizabeth, you belong under the bus. You gave your baby away, and
To
you're
you.
not telling
To
anyone.
you.
You gave him away to us, and you told us you didn't know where the father was, and then next.
I never
was-
said that at all.
Yes, you did, and
Oh,
then you
okay,
wouldn't tell the
whatever.
police where the baby was for 8 hours, and then
It
we
was at
told.
your place.
Yeah, but you didn't tell the police that. You kept lying to the
No,
police.
they
But
didn't
this is the
believe
thing.
me.
Now the baby is with another couple. You gave him away to this couple. You didn't even ask them their names? That's ridiculous. So what is everybody to believe? I mean, you said you killed him. You said you killed the baby. So you know what America believes is that you killed the baby.
Yeah, and I bet you're loving that, huh?
We're
Because that makes
loving
you look
that?
so innocent.
Wait, what'd you say?
Because that makes you look so innocent.
No, I don't really care about
Yeah,
that part
you
because
do.
we've already been proven innocent.
No, you haven't. You lied about every single detail of everything, and you're just
Nope.
worried about
Nope.
yourself. That's all you're worried about right now.
Nope, absolutely not. We've told
Okay.
the truth since day one. We told them about Tennessee. We told them about his friend in San Antonio. We told them everything about,
That's not what I heard.
Well, you're not hearing the right areas then because you're not talking to the police. You're seeing
You don't
3
know who I'm
minutes.
talking to.
What'd you say? Who else are you talking to?
Nothing.
I don't know. Are you watching the TV?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, what you're seeing on TV is us talking for an hour and then hearing 30 seconds of an hour conversation. And they only put on TV what is going to sell. They only want to put on there what's going to sound good and what's going to give them ratings. So the police came to us and told us you are telling them that we set you up with this couple. And you know darn well we never set you up with no couple.
Yeah, okay.
And if you don't come up with this couple, we are going to nail you to the wall because we have 100% proof since day one that we've been telling the police everything we've told them, that we thought for a minute you could change jurisdictions, and if that were the case, we were going to help you with a place to stay in Nashville. But by 24 hours later, we researched it, we called a bunch of attorneys or emailed attorneys, and we found out that that was not the case, that you could not change jurisdictions. And so the next thing we did is we started Googling, can you adopt an adult? We made phone calls on that. And then we sent you text messages saying, call my attorney, call Janet Moore. She will tell you to come back, you know. She will tell you to come back here because you have to come back here. And we have all of that. They have all of our computers and all of our phones, and they see that everything we've told them since day one is all completely true by everything that we Googled in our
well, I guess
computer.
that's what they'll see then, if that's what you're so confident that they'll see.
Oh, they already have.
Okay.
They already have. If I was going to be in trouble, they would have arrested me by Friday. It's already Friday of a week later. Trust me, I would be in trouble. And the police would not be calling me being sweet and kind now, asking me questions about your grandmother helping you with all this. Your grandfather also, they're now saying, your grandfather's the one who gave you a car. So, you know, they're like, okay, well, all of a sudden, Grandpa's going to give her a car to drive all the way out
What
there?
are you
Why
talking
didn't he give her a
about?
car
Why are you
before that?
talking about this?
Huh?
You're a nut.
Elizabeth, who's in jail? Who's in jail? Who gave their baby away?
Yeah,
And now, who's the nut?
Yeah, I know exactly how I'm being portrayed.
You know what? You are a nut. You won't tell people where your child is. Well, he's not your child anymore, but still, you're not telling them where Gabriel is. That is wrong.
Okay, whose child is he then?
He's Logan's. That is Logan's baby. And you've lied about Logan. Logan took care of you. I saw pictures of him. I saw pictures with the baby.
So?
You lied to us the whole time.
I didn't lie to you
Trying to
about
take-
anything, Tammy.
You said you told us all kinds of lies
What did I
about
tell you
Logan,
that
and
was a
those were
lie?
lies.
What did I tell you that was a lie? Name one.
Okay, you said that he had nothing to do with his child and he didn't want the child.
I didn't say it had nothing to do. He came and goes as he went, and he didn't help out, and he didn't help out financially.
Well, supposedly, he paid all of the bills the
With
entire
what?
time.
With what? He wasn't working.
I don't know, but that's what
exactly.
they're saying.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That's what the police are
What the
saying,
police
that they
are
have
saying.
proof that
Okay,
he did
whatever.
everything for that baby.
No, that darn right, that's not the proof.
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know, because the police are telling me all these things.
I can't even listen to you anymore and go on and on.
I want you to find something. Find the baby. If you do, you're going to get a whole lot less years. You know? You'll get a whole lot less years.
So, who are these people calling you from out of country? Who are these friends?
People calling me out of the country?
Yeah, you told me about them when you came to visit me.
You mean talking about the case?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You named 3 countries of friends that were calling you about the case.
Well, no, more like emails. That it's becoming worldwide, that people that are actually emailing me. There are 3 separate countries,
they
with
called you?
Japan, Singapore, and Africa. Is that what you're talking about?
Was it Nigeria?
No, I said Africa. I don't know which part of Africa. Why?
I don't know, I just think it's funny that you mentioned that to me.
No, it's just a matter of telling you they're going to find the baby soon. I mean, people out of the country are already hearing this story. You know? So I just wish you would tell the truth, because I know that you know more about these people than you're saying you do. And if you really... So think, Elizabeth, think. What did the park look like? What did the person look like? Think of these things. You've got to know something. You've got to know
Look, I
something.
just need them to return Gabriel to a church. Or
You asked them to
something
return
like
him to a
that.
church? Huh?
That's what I need.
You need them to return him to a church or
Yes.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But how do we know how to reach these people if you don't even know where they live? If you don't know anything about them, you don't even know what kind of car they drive.
Yeah, you obviously don't care that I'm going to prison and everything that's being said about me. You just don't care at all.
No, I care about finding
yourself.
the
That's all you
baby.
care about.
What
Yeah,
I
that's all
care
I
about...
cared about is getting Gabriel, and you don't care who gets screwed over. You screwed
I
over
will
Logan
never
first. Now you
get
screwed over me.
Gabriel. Oh, wait, are you understanding me? I'm never getting Gabriel. He's going to his daddy.
It's
and
funny
I'm
that you come to that
100% for
realization
that.
now. It's funny you're
Huh?
saying that now. You never said that once before.
Because you fed me lies about
You
his
talked to
brother.
Logan yourself. So you know darn right that's not the case. And he agreed with you about the adoption yourself.
I think he was playing me because he needed to know where you were. And we were playing you while you were gone to get you to get back here because we wanted that baby safe. And like I told you before, that baby is not safe being hidden and changing identities. I told you before, how are you ever going to get him to a hospital if you're changing identities and you're on the run and he gets sick or pneumonia? How are you going to take babysitter that you had?
Yeah, and everyone knows she's full of crap.
You know, if it's something about you, the truth, we have told people over and over again, we do not believe that you could ever kill that baby. And still right now, I don't believe that you could have done that.
Yeah, because you know I didn't.
Well, I don't know you didn't, but I pray to God you didn't. You know? And in my heart, I'm thinking that you didn't. Can you think of anything about these people? Anything that could help find them? Did they mention anything? Did you really give them the baby? Huh?
Cut the crap. Just
cut the crap?
Yes.
What do you mean cut the crap?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. Elizabeth, trying to act like we had something to do with this is not going to help you.
You did, and you know you did.
You know we did. You know we had something to do with this.
Yes,
Why do you think we had something to do with this?
Because you did.
Connect the dots for me, please. Enlighten me. Because there are no dots that connect us there. Just because Jack knows a friend that he hasn't seen in years that lived out there? That's crazy.
Friends, not one person.
Huh?
Not one person that you can happen to account for.
Not one person, what, that we can account for? If there was somebody that we helped you with, then you would know who it was. You know? If we helped you with somebody, then why don't you know who it was? And why are you saying you met these people in a
I
park?
don't know who they are. You're
Oh, I know them, and do you have any idea how crazy that sounds? That we know who these people are, but you don't?
No, that doesn't sound crazy at all. It's exactly how it is and how it happened.
That's very crazy. That sounds very, very crazy. Elizabeth, we need your help in finding this baby. This baby needs to come home safely to his daddy. And this is not fair what you are doing to
You're the one
Logan.
doing it. You did it. I didn't do it.
What the hell did I do? You tell me what I did, Elizabeth.
You did
what
everything.
did I do?
Everything in Arizona, everything in San Antonio, everything you've done. Everything
we've
continuing.
done
You
all
just won't
this.
stop.
You're crazy. You're absolutely as crazy as they say you are.
Okay. And you know what they say about you, too.
You know what? It doesn't matter what they're saying about us. Our innocence has already been proven. It's already been proven.
Just because you're not in jail doesn't mean your innocence has been proven.
What?
Just because you're in jail, just because you're not in jail and I am, that doesn't mean that your innocence has been proven. So you may think that just
No,
because you
it's
haven't been
already
arrested.
been proven because everything that we've said from the beginning matches every dot that they pulled out of our phone and everything that we've pulled out of emails. Us emailing people trying to find out, can you change jurisdictions? And when we found out the answer was no, we immediately went to emails and things about, can you adopt an adult? You know, and they know that. We've said it from the beginning. They just never came and got our computers until a week ago. They never got that information yet. Now that they do, now they're going into a different direction. So, they're finding the laptop that you sold. They're going to get that laptop back.
Okay, we're going to, before we ask any more questions, let's pass the transcripts back. So you could pass them down to the end and Kim will collect them. Ms. Andrews, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detectives, in this phone call, we heard the name Janet Morris brought up as being an attorney in Tennessee. And we heard Detective Harris previously testify about phone records. Is there phone records that indicate that Elizabeth Johnson called Janet Morris in Tennessee while Elizabeth was in San Antonio?
Yes.
And we also heard previously some text messages back and forth between Tammy Smith and Elizabeth Johnson regarding a woman in Tennessee. Did we confirm that that woman, Janet Morris, is actually not an attorney but just works with attorneys?
Correct.
And in fact, did the FBI in Tennessee talk to Janet Morris?
Yes.
And as far as Tammy Smith's connections and Jack Smith's connections in Tennessee, did the FBI in Tennessee follow up on those connections?
They did.
Did they ever find any evidence of Gabriel Johnson?
No.
And the connections that we hear about regarding Jack and having a friend in San Antonio, did the police follow up on that lead as well?
Yes.
And was there any indication of any location of Gabriel Johnson there?
No.
Now, we talked a lot about all the different law enforcement agencies involved. I don't believe I asked you about Ron Olive. Who is Ron Olive?
Ron Olive is a representative from NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And he is a member of what's called Team Adam. During crisis situations, investigations such as this, then NCMEC will send a representative. That person was Ron Olive. So he assisted our department during the investigation.
Now, we've been in trial in this case since September 5th, September 6th. And we've heard from a lot of different law enforcement officers. Clearly, we haven't heard from every law enforcement officer involved in this case.
Correct.
And you talked about, on one occasion, leaving, doing something at 3 o'clock in the morning, going home and returning at 11 o'clock in the morning. Were those kind of standard hours that you and the other detectives were working on this case?
Correct.
Long hours?
Very long hours, yes.
So is it fair to say that when Logan McQuarrie showed up at the police station on December 27, 2009 with some recorded phone calls and text message, that the police took this very seriously?
That is correct.
In regard to some of the information we've heard so far, we heard in the call yesterday where the Smiths were at Bob Johnson's home and there was a reporter there and they talked to Elizabeth Johnson while she was in Miami Beach, Florida, that Elizabeth stated that she had told the FBI that the car was at a Motel 6 across from the bus station. Is that in fact what she had previously told law enforcement about the car?
No.
In fact, she told different stories about where the car was.
Correct.
Including different stories she told to Bob Johnson about where the car was.
Correct.
We heard Detective Velazquez testify today that she said she drove the car to Miami.
Yes.
But eventually we learned that based on some information, the car was found by Special Agent Morales at a Motel 6 across from the bus station.
Correct.
We heard some information about Elizabeth Johnson talking about Logan paying child support. We saw that in some MySpace communications between Elizabeth and Logan. Did your investigation reveal at all any owing of child support that Logan had?
No.
Did your investigation reveal that in fact Logan was working and for most of the period of time, although when he was in jail, living with Gabriel and Elizabeth?
Correct.
We heard Elizabeth saying to Logan in the MySpace communications about false CPS charges. Did the investigation reveal that the call that Logan made to CPS was exactly what Alicia Shumway came and talked to us about?
Correct.
And that was in response to Elizabeth Johnson giving the child to the Smiths?
Correct.
In the conversations between Elizabeth Johnson and Logan McQuarrie on MySpace, and specifically on December 16, 2009, Elizabeth Johnson told Logan that Gabriel was with her, that she had possession of him. Did your investigation reveal that Gabriel was with Elizabeth Johnson on December 16, 2009?
No.
In fact, didn't the investigation reveal that Gabriel had been with the Smiths from December 9th through the 18th until they gave Gabriel back to Elizabeth Johnson?
Correct.
And that it was at that point in time that she left the state with Elizabeth Johnson?
Yes.
In the interview between the media, Bob Johnson, the Smiths, and Elizabeth Johnson, She claims that her story about giving the baby to a couple in San Antonio was corroborated. Was her story about giving the baby to a couple in San Antonio ever corroborated in your investigation?
No.
In that same interview, Elizabeth states that her story was corroborated specifically by the people at the hotel. Now, were those people who were either staying at the hotel or working at the hotel interviewed by agents of the FBI and officers of the San Antonio Police Department?
They were.
And were those interviews, did they corroborate Elizabeth Johnson's story about giving the baby away to a couple in San Antonio?
No.
In the interview again with Tammy Smith, Bob Johnson, the reporter, and Elizabeth Johnson, Tammy asked Elizabeth to confirm that she and Logan had been talking about adoption for months of Gabriel. Was that the communications between Logan and Elizabeth talking about giving Gabriel away for adoption for months, was that corroborated by your investigation?
No.
In fact, otherwise, was Logan's information about he had heard about the adoption the first day when she showed up on December 9, 2009, was that corroborated?
That's correct.
In that interview again that took place at Bob Johnson's home, you hear Tammy asking Elizabeth about threats by Logan. Did your investigation reveal that Logan had made any threats at all to Elizabeth Johnson?
No.
Were there claims also that Logan had made threats to Tammy Smith?
Yes.
Did the investigation corroborate that?
No.
In fact, during your investigation, were Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith either one aware that Logan was recording those phone calls?
They were not aware.
And in fact, on January 25th, 2010, did you meet with Logan McQuarrie again and obtain another recorder from him?
Yes.
And in fact, he was still recording phone calls with Tammy Smith at that point.
Correct.
And during the investigation, was there any evidence revealed that Logan had been communicating with Elizabeth Johnson on the phone while she was in San Antonio prior to the call we have recorded from December 26, 2009?
No.
And in fact, did the recordings that Logan provided to the police, did they dispute the statements that Elizabeth and Tammy were making about Logan?
Yes.
The investigation regarding Gabriel Johnson's whereabouts, that's still ongoing?
It is.
At the time that you became involved in the investigation, between December 27th and December 30th, when Elizabeth Johnson was located, you had some different information, correct? You had Elizabeth Johnson say she had killed Gabriel.
Correct.
And then on December 30th, she said she gave it away to a couple she'd met at the hotel.
Correct.
And then she said she gave him away to a couple she met at a park.
Correct.
And later on, she said she gave him away to a couple that Tammy Smith had provided to her.
Correct.
From that point on, during the time that she was giving you this information, did you investigate all of those possibilities?
Yes, we did.
The possibilities that everything she said or one piece of information she said were true?
That is correct.
So there were searches for whether or not what she said to Logan about killing him was true.
Correct.
And there were searches to try and identify if she'd actually given him away to a couple.
Correct.
And there were searches to identify whether or not she had actually given him away to somebody the Smiths knew.
Correct.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Victor?
Moment, Judge.
You may.
Detective Ramirez, you are the case agent in this case, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And there are things that you did personally, and there are things that you didn't do, but you're just aware of because you're the case agent, is that right?
That is.
Okay, so what I'd like to do with you is sort of establish a timeline of events, some of the things you may have personal knowledge of, and some of the things you may not, but you may be aware of just because you're the case agent. Fair enough?
Fair.
And I'm going to ask them 18 different points that I think are significant points in this case in terms of a timeline. I'm going to ask you if these things are true or false, Or if you don't know, just tell me you don't know. Or if you need further clarification about my question, let me know about that. Fair enough?
Fair.
Okay, first thing, true or false? December 18, 2009, that is when Elizabeth Johnson withdraws all money out of her accounts.
True.
Point number 2. In fact, I think I'm going to go a little slower.
Okay.
Point number 2. December 18, 2009. That's when Elizabeth Johnson exits the state of Arizona with Gabriel. True or false?
True.
Point number 3. December 18, 2009. On that date, Elizabeth Johnson, when she exited the state with Gabriel, was not in violation of a court order. True or false?
True.
Point number 4. December 20, 2009, precisely 8 o'clock a.m. That's the time that the date and time that the court order required Elizabeth Johnson to hand over Gabriel Johnson to Logan McQuarrie.
Correct.
Point number 5. Elizabeth Johnson failed to hand over Gabriel Johnson to Logan McQuarrie on December 20, 2009, and that was a violation of the court order.
True.
Point number 6. December 20, 2009, Elizabeth Johnson and Gabriel Johnson arrive in Texas.
True.
And then point number 7, from December 20, 2009 to December 26, 2009, Elizabeth Johnson and Gabriel Johnson remain in San Antonio, Texas.
Correct.
During those dates, let me back up a little bit. We saw pictures, one picture from each of those days that was taken from Elizabeth Johnson's camera in Exhibit 120. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that on each of those days, between December 20, 2009 and December 26, 2009, Gabriel Johnson appeared to be healthy, happy, and nothing out of the ordinary in terms of his status?
That's actually hard for me to answer because they were simply pictures, so I have no idea of the background, who he was with. For example, a babysitter from Craigslist. That's hard for me to answer.
Fair enough. Then let me ask it like this. Based only on the pictures that you saw and on nothing else, in your opinion, would it be accurate to say that Gabriel Johnson looked fine on each of those days?
I didn't see any physical injuries to him off of those pictures.
In those pictures, did he appear to be healthy?
He appeared to be healthy. Yes.
Did he appear to be happy in those pictures?
I don't recall a picture where he's crying, but he appeared healthy, happy.
Okay. Point number 8. December 26, 2009 is the latest time that anybody has seen Gabriel Johnson.
Correct.
Point number 9. December 26, 2009, that's the last known photo of Gabriel Johnson.
That is correct.
And that came from Elizabeth Johnson's camera, is that right?
Correct.
Point number 10. You have no evidence of Gabriel Johnson's whereabouts after December 26, 2009.
That is correct.
Point number 11 is a little bit longer. we had two, as you just heard with, in your direct examination with Miss Andrews, there were two different versions, at least two generally different versions given by Elizabeth Johnson in terms of what happened to Gabriel Johnson. Fair to say one version is the I killed him version. The other version is I gave him away for adoption to a couple that I met in San Antonio.
That's fair to say, yes.
Okay, and as part of point 11, would it be accurate to say, based on your knowledge of the case as the case agent, that you don't have any evidence to either confirm or deny either of those two versions of events?
Actually, the confrontational phone call, in breaking that down, provided some information as to, between those two parties, again, looking for factual statements, there were statements that Elizabeth Johnson made, Tammy Smith made, that I'm not sure that I could agree to that as to statements that we just heard.
All right, well, let's go slowly back
Okay.
through that. Regarding the version, the I gave him away to a couple in San Antonio version, there are some different details about that event, right?
Correct.
Okay, and without regard to the differences in those details, would it be accurate to say that as you sit here today, you don't have evidence to confirm or deny either of those two versions? And by the two versions, I mean the I killed him version and the I gave him away version. Would you say that that's accurate?
I still struggle with that answer because of interviews from, for example, the FBI agent, statements that Elizabeth Johnson made, which were inconsistent to then what we have through the investigation. So it wasn't as though her statements were consistent for me to agree with that.
I understand that. Let me break it down a little bit. Do you have any evidence to support or deny the I killed him version?
No.
Do you have any evidence to support or deny the I gave him away version?
That is the statement that she provided. And we continued with follow-up with that.
Well, let me ask you like this, Detective.
Okay.
Would it be accurate to say that as you sit here today with everything you know about the case, you don't know whether or not Baby Gabriel is alive and well or not?
That is correct.
So then you don't know which of those versions is true. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. Point number 12. December 27, 2009. Approximately 10 a.m. Elizabeth Johnson at the Tornado bus station in or around San Antonio, Texas, not with Gabriel Johnson.
Correct.
Point number 13. December 27, 2009, 11:53 a.m. The quote, "I killed him," end quote, text is sent to Logan.
Correct.
At the time that text is sent, Elizabeth Johnson is not with Gabriel Johnson.
Correct.
Point number 14. December 27, 2009, shortly after the "I killed him" text is sent, there are recorded telephone conversations between Elizabeth Johnson and Logan McQuarrie.
Correct.
And the jury hasn't yet heard those recordings, is that right?
Correct.
But fair to say, with what you know about the case, that at the time of that telephone call, Elizabeth Johnson does not have Gabriel Johnson.
Correct.
Point 16, December 27, 2009. Elizabeth Johnson has a telephone conversation with Detective, is it Lenzen?
Sergeant Liz Linson, yes.
Oh, Sergeant Lenzen. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
There was some discussion with Detective or Sergeant Lenzen about whether or not Elizabeth Johnson had Gabriel at the time of that call. Do you recall that?
I do.
We can say with a good degree of certainty actually, we're sure that Elizabeth Johnson at that point still did not have Gabriel Johnson. Is that right?
What I recall from Sergeant Linson is she did not hear the baby in the background, and so she could not verify that the baby was with her.
That's true. That's exactly what the sergeant said. But given that we know that she was at the bus station without Gabriel, given that we know she got on the bus without Gabriel, given that we know she got off the bus without Gabriel, given that we know she was talking to Sergeant Linson on that bus, likely, right?
Correct.
Can we say with a good degree of certainty then that during that phone call, Elizabeth Johnson did not have Gabriel Johnson?
Correct.
Okay. Point 17. December 30, or actually, let me make this one 17. December 29, 2009, that is when Elizabeth Johnson checks into the hostel in Florida.
Correct.
And that's without Gabriel, is that right?
That is right.
And of course, that's consistent with everything we know about the timeline, right?
Correct.
And then my final point, point 18. December 30, 2009, Elizabeth Johnson arrested in Florida, no Gabriel.
Correct.
And no evidence of any Gabriel.
Correct.
And that's all consistent with the timeline as we know it, is it not?
It is.
No further questions. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Before we do redirect, I think we're at the point of our afternoon break, so I want to go ahead and take that. So we're going to take our afternoon recess. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. Until then, remember the admonition. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. Okay, please be seated, everyone. We're outside the presence of the jury. It looks like a juror just handed Kim a note, so let me look at it. Here, I'll read it's kind of a long question, but I'll read it. This is what the question says, and I think it would have been appropriate to wait until after Detective Ramirez was finished, because it's directed essentially to what Detective Ramirez was talking about. Here's what the note says, quote, "I would like to know more about the pre-call preparation. What was Elizabeth told to do before the phone call was made? Was she told to be confrontational with Tammy? Was she told to represent her true beliefs? Was she, quote, coached, unquote, in any way? If so, how? Was Tammy interviewed after this phone call, question mark?" So what I would then expect to happen, if you want to address that and redirect, you can. If it raises an issue that you didn't have a chance in cross, and I feel like you ought to deserve an opportunity to come back to it, meaning I'm not sure, I don't think you were probably going to get into questions relating to preparation of the call because it wasn't raised in cross. If she does and you want to go back to it, I'll let you do it. Okay. Anything else we need to talk about while we're on the record?
No, Judge.
All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. Reflect the presence of the jury panel. The defendant is not present, and counsel. Okay, we left off with the state getting ready for redirect examination. So, Ms. Andrews, we need Detective Ramirez back up. Come on up. I failed to look right there to see if you were there. Ms. Andrews, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, I'd like to ask you some questions about the confrontation call you conducted between Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what kind of preparation you did with Elizabeth Johnson before she made the call?
Sure. What I did with her, with representatives from the Maricopa County attorney present as well as her attorneys, is I went over statements, investigative findings from the investigation. So, for example, I addressed that I wanted her to discuss with Tammy Smith the topic of Craig Cherry, wanted her to address the role of being in San Antonio and how they communicated. Also addressed the role of Tennessee and what type of communication they had there. Again, looking for factual statements, so I addressed with Elizabeth Johnson, here are some key points that I'd like you to address. I encourage all people involved to be themselves, so I typically will tell a person, you can curse, you can scream, you can cry, you need to be yourself. Typically, I won't look at a person. I'm listening to take notes, but also just to put someone at ease is for me to just not completely stare at them and allow that conversation to be relaxed in order to get factual statements. So once we start, it's actually a live mic, and I'll explain. I can't talk to you. It's a little mic that goes into the ear, and so everything can be heard. I also addressed the topic of not bringing up the police, and the reason for that is so that the other person later doesn't return with, I made this statement because I felt threatened. She had said if I agree or if I make this statement, then he or she will not go to the police. So we ask that we are out of the conversation, and so that conversation is between the two parties.
Let me ask you this, Detective Ramirez. The topics that you wanted Elizabeth to cover, are those topics that you just made up out of the air on your own?
No, they're specifically from the investigation.
And in fact, they were topics that had come from Elizabeth Johnson and Tammy Smith themselves?
Correct.
And witnesses such as Deanne Ayala?
Correct.
The document with Craig Cherry's name on it?
Yes.
And you indicate that the mic is live and so things can be heard. Are you saying that if you talked to Elizabeth Johnson while she was making this phone call, Tammy would have heard you?
Absolutely.
So you couldn't actually talk to her?
Correct.
But you went over some points you wanted her to cover from the actual investigation?
That is correct.
And during the confrontation call that we heard, the points that Elizabeth Johnson were bringing up, were all of those points that you were aware of or that you had suggested to her to bring up?
The general, yes, is their conversation was what we had addressed, and then they communicated between themselves in terms of, I mean, I'm not able to talk, so I don't know if I answered that clearly.
Well, let me ask you this. When they talk about the conversations in San Antonio, you were already aware that there had been conversations between the two of them while Elizabeth Johnson was in San Antonio?
Correct.
And you were already aware that there were allegations about Tennessee and going to Tennessee and changing jurisdictions?
Correct.
And were you also aware of the Craig Cherry document?
Yes.
When Elizabeth Johnson mentions to Tammy Smith, you told me to go to a shelter and say I'd been beat. Was that a topic you wanted Elizabeth Johnson to cover?
No.
Were there topics in the conversation between Elizabeth Johnson or statements made by Elizabeth Johnson in the confrontation call that you didn't tell her to say?
That's correct.
Detective, I want to clarify some things that defense counsel asked you on cross-examination. Defense counsel asked you several times in several different ways. It seems like you were having trouble with the questions and your answer, but he was asking you specifically, there's no evidence to dispute or to corroborate the two stories that Elizabeth Johnson said. The two stories being one that she killed Gabriel and one that she gave him away. Correct?
Correct.
And you just couldn't answer that true or false. Why don't you explain to us what your issue was with that question?
Well, going to the statement of, from day one, from December 27th of 2009, our department had a recording with Elizabeth Johnson and her voice, her statements, and those were statements that we today know the importance. I mean, we took it from the first day of December 27, 2009 of myself staying at work till almost 3 o'clock in the morning because of the danger of not knowing where the baby was based off of statements made directly from his mother.
Let me ask you this. When you have consistent statements by a witness or a suspect or a victim in a case, does that have evidentiary value to you?
Yes.
When you have inconsistent statements by a witness, a victim, a suspect in a case, does that have evidentiary value to you?
Yes.
And so do you consider a person's statements and whether or not they are consistent or inconsistent evidence?
Absolutely.
I want to go back to point number 8 and 9 that defense counsel was asking you about. He was asking you about the dates of December 26, 2009 and December 27, 2009, and asked you about December 26, 2009 being the last time anyone saw Gabriel Johnson. You recall that conversation with defense counsel?
Yes.
And I want to clarify with you that, in fact, we heard testimony earlier about the photographs that were taken of Gabriel Johnson while he was in the hotel room off of Elizabeth Johnson's camera in San Antonio, Texas. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And in fact, one picture from each of those days was admitted in this trial.
Correct.
And the last picture that we had was December 26, 2009.
Correct.
And in fact, was the last picture taken that we had off the camera at 7:48 in the morning on that day?
That is correct.
And now we had testimony from Mr. Chavez, who indicated that he saw Elizabeth Johnson at the bus station on December 27th, 2009 at about 10 a.m.
Correct.
Do we have any evidence that any evidence of where Gabriel Johnson was between 7:48 a.m. on December 26, 2009 and 10 a.m. on December 27, 2009?
We do not.
So is it correct to say that we know that Gabriel wasn't seen after the 26th?
That is correct.
In fact, Elizabeth Johnson could have still had him prior to 10 a.m. on December 27, 2009.
That is correct.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything on the confrontation issue, Mr. Victor?
No, Judge.
Okay. Does the jury have any questions for Detective Ramirez before we let her go? Doesn't look like it. May this witness be excused, Ms. Andrews?
Yes,
Mr. Victor?
Yes, Judge.
You may step down. Thank you. And I believe the state has some admitted evidence it would like to publish to the jury. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Tell us what you've got.
Your Honor, this time we'd like to publish exhibit number 14.
Okay, so exhibit number 14, and I believe we have a transcript for this as well that Kim's going to pass out.
And that's correct, Your Honor, and I believe by stipulation the parties are agreeing that the jurors can keep the transcripts and that they will be admitted into evidence.
Okay, so for both the next two exhibits, we have two separate exhibits that are...
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Exhibit
so-
14 and Exhibit 13.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and pass out both.
Okay.
So we're going to, ladies and gentlemen, we're passing out two transcripts to you. Two separate transcripts of audio that you're about to hear. The parties have stipulated that you can keep these transcripts. Instead of us collecting them, you can bring them back to the jury room. Obviously, they have to stay here, so we'll probably ask you to leave them on your seat when you leave today, but you will be able to keep these. So Kim's passing them out. Same caution I'm going to give you in terms of call quality. There are different challenges with respect to different calls as far as the quality goes. At least one of these is a recording. In fact, I think both of these recordings were made by Mr. McQuarrie. Is that correct, Ms. Andrews?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's quality issues that you'll soon hear in terms of understanding what's being said. That's why we have the transcript. For one of these, I believe the December 26th call that you're about to hear, only Ms. Johnson's portion can be heard. Is that correct, Ms. Andrews?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So there are some challenges with that, but we want to give you the transcripts to help you as best we can going forward. Okay, so which one are we going to hear first?
The December 26, 2009. Your Honor.
Okay, you may publish it to the jury.
Hello? Yes? What do you want, please? Yes, you have. You're going around telling people things, making up things, and... I don't think you're a good person. You're going on Facebook and trying to get attention for people and play games and just play this card and it's really pathetic and, you know? I find that friends who are looking out for me and you see what you're doing and I think it's really sad that you need people's attention. You're using this like to make attention. And he's kidnapped and, is there a picture of her in the house? And you think, pathetic, your court knows exactly what's going on and you're trying to play games. You are. I'm hiding from you because you're harassing. You harass everyone I know and every single person that texts me that. On Christmas Day, you're harassing my roommate? No. She said you were over there yesterday by yourself and you're trying to smooth things over with me talk. Yeah. You know, she told me yesterday you were by yourself and you got upset about it. You are harassing me, you're threatening me, you won't leave me alone, you won't let me go, you won't let me have my own life. You don't have to pay child support. You don't want to do that, you think you don't have to do that. Lay down fighting. Why not? It's the best interest for him. Because I'm doing more for him than he'll ever do. What's the help in you are? You shouldn't say your real name from your family and your tax paper and everything. It's so pathetic. I'm sure I would be so ashamed of yourself. You're a grown man and you're acting like a little child in a store and playing games trying to get attention. Well, who fucks with that, Logan, okay? Because I'm allowed to move. I'm a grown woman, and I'm allowed to move. And I have connections, I have friends, and there's going to be a lawyer Monday morning representing me because I cannot get fair notice. So you can meet my lawyer Monday, and he's going to represent me, and the judge is going to hand you that to you, like he handed that to you last time, and he's going to continue to do that. And you can stop threatening my friends and family because if you do it one more time, you're actually going to get in some little rough trouble. You cannot do what you're doing. Yes, you have. All my friends and family. My grandpa told you you're trying to convince him to turn the car and stolen. Well, it just seems like you should have known you're playing games. You should have known you don't care about the baby. You only care about getting me in trouble. That's what this is all about. You don't care about Gabriel one bit. He's had my phone number the whole damn time and he hasn't called me once. And he's going to see that. So, first off, Logan, but you will never see him again because I'm allowed to move, I'm allowed to get a job, I'm allowed to have my own life, and you can't stop me. So, good luck and goodbye.
Okay, and that was Exhibit 14?
14, Your Honor.
Okay, and the next is going to be the December 27th call. What exhibit number is this?
That's exhibit number 13, Your Honor.
Okay, so you can publish Exhibit 13 to the jury.
All you want to do is take it from me.
We agreed on shared custody, and you ran.
I wasn't going to let you do that. That's what you did to me. I wasn't going to let you teach me to everybody.
Elizabeth, I was trying to be civil about this, and I still am.
No, you weren't.
Yes. Why would you send me a text message like that? I know you're lying.
Why?
You can't send me a text message saying you're still lying. Elizabeth, I did.
No, you didn't. You did that. You did.
Where are you? And why would you say that?
What do you want?
Where are you? And why are you saying you killed Gabriel?
You just took a Logan, and
You know how messed that up that is?
I know it's messed up. You trapped me, you scared me, and you left me with no choice.
I didn't...
You put this on an Amber Alert on me?
What? Elizabeth, that's why you need to go to court and stop doing all this.
What?
I said that's why you need to go to court and stop doing all this.
No, you should have been civil. You should have left me. I did nothing wrong.
I was civil, Elizabeth, and I wasn't doing
No,
anything
you
wrong
weren't.
either.
You went to your dad and straight, and you promised me you'd never do that again, and you did. You can't break promises to people. You can't lie to people.
Elizabeth, you pushed me into this situation.
No, I didn't. You lied to me, you lied to me, you played with me, you played with me. You pushed me into this, now you made me kill my baby.
Where are you?
What does it matter where I am? I don't exist anymore. All my identification's gone.
Where are you?
I don't exist anymore. I'm a ghost. When are we gonna let you take me? I did all the work. I sacrificed everything. You needed to just come and take me. You and your family, you mine. So we're gonna let you do that.
You're not gonna...
What? What?
You plugged him to Congress Gabriel. No, you didn't.
No? You just applied for a person to get blood. You pushed them up.
What?
I said, you just applied for a personal win and you pushed them up.
I'm not pushing you. I gave you your space.
No, you didn't. Push me, you're asking me, you harass me, you hurt me, you train me, you want to forget all kinds of old girls, and I'm friends with those girls now.
No.
Yeah, you are.
I do see myself.
I saw your Facebook account, Logan. That's all you're concerned about.
Speaking of talking to a few friends, and I haven't talked to anybody else. So I'm not going to have this conversation with you and keep arguing. Where are you and where's Gabriel?
Gabriel's in the dumpster.
No, he's not.
Do you want to talk to girls? What's the price you pay? Are you dating one now? That's why you left me?
No, I'm not dating anybody, Elizabeth. You need to stop.
You got a sex with someone?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Elizabeth, stop.
I see what you've been up to on your Facebook account. What are you supposed to do? Well, would you get away with that?
Let me get away with what? I'm not doing anything, Elizabeth. You're the one who's running it nice. Where are you? Where's Gabriel?
The girl that I killed him this morning.
What?
I killed him this morning.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Where are you?
I'm not going to tell you like that. So my money runs out, then I'm nowhere. My money runs out is when my life runs out. Maybe I'll get lucky and get rid of one. You don't care about me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it alone, and I couldn't do it anymore. You made it possible for me to have my own life. You made it possible for me to have Gabriel. You wanted to take the only thing I had left, you wanted to take from me. Because you were going to make me miserable.
Elizabeth.
So find some new girl to make you a new baby. That's obviously what you're doing. You don't care about Gabriel. You have never said.
Yes, I do care
You
about
knew that
Gabriel
was...
a lot. I'd love
You
to
knew...
do that, and that's why I want to see him. I haven't seen him since December
You
8th.
knew. You had a
did
chance to see him. I told you you could arrange it with me anytime. I figured to see you after court. You walked right by it. You never wanted to see him. You never cared about him.
Yeah.
Where
You
are
know
you?
what I was capable of. You know what I'm capable of.
Where
And
are
you
you?
pushed me anyway. It doesn't matter where I am. Do you think I give a shit about myself?
Where are you?
Do you think I care if I live this high? I don't. You took my life away.
I didn't take anything. You're doing this.
Yes, you did, Logan. Yeah, you did.
You're doing this. Where are you?
No, you did it, Logan.
Where are you?
You know where I'm at.
I know where you're at. Are you at your house?
No, I'm not, Logan.
Then you're with those people?
No, I'm not.
Then you're in Texas?
For now.
Where in Texas?
When money runs out. You know where I am, Logan. I wouldn't just have to do anything. Don't you care about me? Or you care about us too, girl? And he's gone now. You made me do something that's going to kill me now. Why did you do this?
I didn't do this. You're doing this.
No, tell me.
You're doing this.
It's already been done, Logan. Tell me why you did it. Tell me, no?
Tell you what?
You're sick of me. You're sick of me. I didn't give you sex, so you want to find sex somewhere else. That's what it was.
No, Elizabeth.
No, what was it?
You need to stop this.
What was it?
I'm not going to have a conversation with you.
Tell me-
until you tell me exactly where you're
Tell me
at.
how you get sex. But
I'm not going to have a conversation with you until you tell me exactly where you're at.
I'm scared until you have sex with, and you know that.
Well, I
So,
thought you were going to make this more
Who do you have sex with? I don't care about myself, Logan. I don't give a shit about myself. You just destroyed my life.
I haven't destroyed anything.
Yes, you have, Logan. You made me kill my baby boy. Do you think I can live after that? No. You can because you're cold-hearted. I don't love you. It's you.
I have to go
Why?
because I'm not going to sit
Well,
here
why?
on the phone with you
What?
and keep having a conversation when you're at the meeting.
There's nothing to tell. I told you, Logan. I told you. You made me do this.
You did not hurt Gabriel.
Because I suffocated them. I'm almost out and I suffocated him and he turned blue. Because I put him in his paper bag and I put him in the trash can.
I need to go.
Why? Call the police?
I need to go.
Why? You're not going to talk to me about this? You don't care? You don't believe me? You knew I would do it and you pushed me anyway.
I was giving you your space. I didn't push you. You need to knock this off. Don't
Oh,
think
give me my space. Is you talking to other girls and having sex with other girls?
I'm
That's giving me
not.
my space? I didn't want space. I wanted you to be there because that's no reason.
I need to go.
And you betrayed me to your father and everybody.
I didn't betray you.
What did you just say?
I need to go.
No, what did you just say?
That I didn't betray you.
You did. You got your daddy and fucking did all the stuff on my back. I did nothing.
You betrayed me by hitting me all those times and by yelling at all those
You hated you. Okay, you keep believing that, you son of a bitch.
You don't remember the several times you took a lot off, smacked me in the head, smacked me in the face.
I'm betrayed, Logan. I have emotional issues and you know that.
I know.
Okay, that has nothing to do with me being a hot person. But now you made me into a monster. Like you think of all your girlfriends as monsters.
I didn't do anything.
Can you tell me that you're... It's already done, love. It's already over with. It's done.
I
I
need to go.
finished it.
Bye.
Okay. Does the state have any additional witnesses?
At this time, the state rests.
Okay. The state has rested, meaning the state has finished its presentation of evidence. This means that we transition now into the next phase. Defendant may present evidence if the defendant chooses. Always at this stage of the case, there's always a break, a transition into the next phase after the state rests. So it's late today, so we wouldn't have anything proceed today. We're off tomorrow, as we've talked about. Because we're at this phase of the trial where the state has just rested, I am not going to actually have the next phase start on Thursday because we're taking that long break for a week from the 8th on. So here's what we're going to do. Here's the good news. All that talking means we're taking Thursday off too. So we're about to take our very long break. We're going to take tomorrow off, as I told you before, and we're going to take Thursday off, which means then we have the next week off and we go into the week of the 15th. Here's the further news. I now have a scheduling conflict on the 15th, and so we're actually coming back on the 16th. Do not worry, this does not affect the end date. I had previously cut out some days, and on the calendar, our end date is the 22nd. That's still in place. This does not affect the end part of the trial. But what we're going to do is this. So let me go over it again with you because I just told you a bunch of different things. And if you have any question at any time, you can call Katie at my number and ask. Here's what we're going to do. We're now taking a break. It's a long break, and it's actually going to be, at this point, 2 weeks because we're not coming back till Tuesday, October 16th at 10:30. Where we will then begin the next phase of trial. So we've got 2 weeks off. Now, in the 2 weeks, you're going to have an extended period of time for potential issues, meaning having some kind of exposure to the case, the ability to do some research. You can't do either. You can't be exposed to the case, you can't do any research. And it may be hard because this is such a long period of time. I'm not excited about having this long a period of time, but it's really driven by my schedule, unfortunately, that we need to take the break. So we are going to take 2 weeks off. You can't bring your notes with you. You're going to leave them here, and we'll have them obviously for you when you come back on October 16th. Okay, so remember the admonition. You'll be back here 2 weeks from today on October 16th, and we'll begin the next phase at 10:30. So remember, again, the admonition, have a good couple weeks off, be safe, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All rise for the jury.
Okay, so it's clear, we talked about this timing issue multiple times off the record. We haven't really had an on-the-record discussion. Mr. Victor had expressed a preference/request that we not take that Monday off, the 15th. I overruled him based on a concern I had as raised by the state that if we settled the jury instructions Monday morning, depending on what the jury instructions look like, it may not be fair for either side to transition into closing arguments Monday afternoon. Ms. Andrews requested, and I thought it was an appropriate request to have time between the final settling of the jury instructions and closing arguments, if that's what's going to happen. Let me repeat what I expect to happen now between now and October 16th. First, we're off tomorrow completely. Thursday at 10:30, counsel are coming back, and we're going to begin talking about jury instructions. I'll have a draft for you to look at, and then we'll start talking about issues we know are out there. We won't make a final decision, but I want to advance the ball so that when we come back next on January 15th at 10:30, we can hopefully quickly finalize the jury instructions. Between Thursday the 4th and Monday the 15th, I expect Mr. Victor to submit any proposed, well, both sides to submit any further jury instructions. Mr. Victor has told me that he projects that he'll have several possible special instructions to propose. The state may have some as well. I want those to be disclosed as early as we can. I'm not going to put a specific deadline on it, but I would like to not be seeing them for the first time at 10:30 on Monday the 15th and then need to make a call at that point. So I would expect you to submit them earlier. Also, you'll be telling us Monday at 10:30 whether Ms. Johnson is going to testify or whether you're going to present any other evidence starting on Tuesday. If she's going to testify, you're going to present evidence, obviously that's the first thing we do on the 16th. If the answer is no, you're not presenting evidence, then when the jury comes back on Tuesday the 16th, we're going to go into closing instructions and we'll have closing arguments right there. But you'll tell us on Monday the 15th, and so that's the first thing we'll do when we talk on Monday at 10:30. So that's what's going to happen. I need to know, well, I don't need to know until Thursday. Ms. Johnson, obviously, she wants to be here. She can for the jury instructions. I'll leave that to you to let me know whether she's waiving her presence or whether she wants to be here. We're not making final decisions about the jury instructions, so I'll let you tell me if she decides not to come for that. If she's making a decision not to come on Monday, I think I want to talk to her in person about that. If there's going to be another determination by her that she doesn't want to be here, on Monday, she needs to be here and tell me that. Okay, what else do we need to talk about from the state's perspective?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
How about from the defense perspective?
Judge, we have a Rule 20 we'd like to file, given that the state's case is now closed. May I approach?
You may. And obviously, Mr. Victor's handing me a written motion, looks like.
I am, Judge.
And what I would propose to do with this, and it can depend on the timing, is I can review it. We can talk about it on Thursday if we'd like. If Ms. Andrews, you decide you would like more time, I think we can talk about it Monday as well.
Judge, I realize we have quite a break here, but, you know, Judge, in the normal course of things, I'd file the Rule 20 right now, we'd argue it right now.
Yes.
And we'd start tomorrow.
Yes.
This is a fairly simple Rule 20. It's just on the DCAC issue, and it's a very simple legal argument. I'd like to deal with it today.
I don't think there's any reason why we have to do it today. We can talk about it Thursday. I'm seeing it for the first time. You're citing cases. Don't you want a more informed judge than you would get right now with respect to this argument?
Judge, I thought you had all these cases memorized, so
Every once in a while, they slip out of my memory, and that may be what's happening here. I would prefer to address it on Thursday. I think that's reasonable, and we're going into the break after that. There's no reason not to.
That's fine, Judge, as long as we can deal with it on Thursday.
I think we can. I'm looking at it. It's a discrete issue that I think we can handle on Thursday in terms of the Rule 20. So we'll talk about the Rule 20 motion on Thursday as well.
Okay, Judge.
We'll do that first thing on Thursday. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Victor, from your perspective?
Judge, obviously now that the state's case is closed, I'm going to review the evidence, and I may or may not have other Rule 20 issues as well to raise, which I will at the appropriate time.
What's your definition of the appropriate time?
Well, Judge, the rule says I could file them either at the end of the state's case or the end of the defense case. And so I'm going to consider exactly what I have and what I want to file, and I'll file them either at one of those two times.
Well, there's no doubt that I'm not going to preclude you if you show up on Monday the 15th with a Rule 20 motion. I would appreciate it if you showed up before that time with the Rule 20 motion if it's coming, but you and I both know I won't preclude you, and I'll consider it. You run the risk of me looking at it and saying, boy, this is a complicated issue, I may need more time.
If I do file it, Judge, now that I know you don't have every case memorized, which frankly is a surprise, I will try to file it electronically before Monday at 10:30.
Okay. All right. I'll just take it as it comes on that issue. All right. So I'll see everybody here Thursday at 10:30.